some Sundays I'm like, thank you, Lord, for letting me stay home and watch it because
I got you.
it was just sometimes it feels like when I go to church, it feels like the church avoids talking about those topics, and it's not. It feels so overtly spiritual that it kind of misses the meat of the reality of what's going on.
Yes. If you're so far from what your congregants have to face on a daily basis, have you done your job?
Correct. That's a good question. And
I
yes, it
mean,
probably is no. Like, and I think, like, and don't get me wrong, you need to dive in the word. You need that.
of
But also,
course.
what does that look like for our day-to-day life? What does that look like when we got a
Yes.
leader that's proclaiming the name of Jesus, but not conducting himself as such?
As such, he don't know how to conduct his mouth right.
Or you got people that proclaim the name of Jesus, but still support that foolishness and allow that
Yes.
foolishness.
Yes.
Like,
Which speaks to a
we
bigger
can,
issue too, that you can
mm,
still call on the name but still act like a fool.
correct.
Yeah.
Every bit.
Yeah.
Every bit. Because, like, we see it today in today's society where people are proclaiming and excited that,
Yep.
Christianity is about to be, I guess, I know in South Carolina, they just came out with a bill, and it's happened in Texas where 10 commandments have to be posted. And it's like, certainly, the generic Christian, oh, that's great. But it's like, what if you're a
Yep.
kid that doesn't endorse those ideologies and that mindset? Now
Yep.
we as believers are genuinely enforcing our faith upon others.
Yep. Yep.
And somebody made a good point. They said, when did we see in the Bible where Jesus proclaimed and made a proclamation for the Christian faith?
Right.
It was always an opportunity. It was always, hey,
Yep.
we're going to deliver and proclaim the gospel. If you accept it, that's on you. If you don't,
Yep. Yep.
there was never a mandate. And so I don't
Yep.
understand why we as a society, I
Yep.
mean, I do, because I think Jesus he's not the ends of the means. He's not
Right.
the ultimate thing for some of them. I think it's truly
Right.
a supremacy mindset too.
Yes. Yes. I may still believe in Jesus, but it's that other mindset that's taking the forefront. Yep.
And so, yeah, I'll say that.
Yep. Because if you believe, you would submit
You would.
and then allow him to work through you, even in the government, even in those legislatures. If you
Mhm.
really were operating, if he was operating in you and you allowed that to be your driving force, we would be a lot better off. But you can look at the world, Josh, and see that that's not where we're at.
Nope. Especially when you endorse certain lies, you promote cheating,
Yep.
you promote an ideology that you know is sickening.
Yep.
You demonize those who are foreign
Hmm.
when the word calls us to a higher standard.
It does. Yep.
You don't even take the time to grieve and mourn when there's gun violence.
Nope.
Choose to protect the weapon and not listen to the people.
Yep. But see, I thought the Constitution started off with "We the people." That's what I thought.
But see, you know who it truly was ever meant for.
Well,
Because if you got to because it wasn't meant for everybody that look like us. They had to add amendments just to make sure they validated that.
that's true.
Oh, I mean,
Yep.
they never. Our country has truly never lived up to those words. They've tried
They
certainly at
tried
times,
at
and
times.
like now we've regressed because for some reason we think it's the we go back. We're going back to some glory days, but those
Mm-mm.
glory days for a few handful of people, and
For a handful of people.
it wasn't just people that all look like them either.
Nope. It was for a handful of people.
It was
Yep.
people that had money and wealth, and if you
So
didn't meet those qualifications,
so why do you think it seems like, for instance, and I hate to even call out specific ethnicities,
mhm,
but you don't see how Oriental or Asian people seem to keep themselves distant while living in America?
honestly don't know. I
Yeah.
don't have the community to understand like
Yeah.
how they are involved in this community or involved currently or their
Or how
experiences.
or the right, we don't know. Yeah.
So,
But we know what we're going through, what we see,
right.
and what they promote on the media. But yeah, it's and I'm telling you, we psychologically as a culture are the results of a practice they put in works long time ago.
Correct. Correct.
We are like the results of that.
Correct. Like there was a mindset that was fed, like the whole "your vote doesn't count." That was started by John Wyrick and Jerry Falwell Jr., and it
Right,
was
right.
fed rapidly through the Black community. And now you have people, the millennial generation, and I think is who are they? The Gen
Uh,
Xers? Is it the Gen X?
it's
The
not Z.
generation before them is
Okay,
so the generation before millennials.
X.
I
It
think
would
it's the
be
Gen
X. It's
X.
X. X. Yeah,
So that has rapidly been fed through the mindset. So now you have a
yeah.
whole group of African American men who don't A, who don't trust the government, B, who don't feel like their voices are heard or don't desire to have their voices are heard
And if I
because they don't want to
actually
be
do
involved.
vote, it ain't gonna count. If I
And the truth
actually
of it,
do,
and that's far from the truth.
yep, yep.
But it also has allowed a mindset of laziness to breed in the community too, to where
But
now you're not engaged in what's going on.
you don't think they know that, Josh?
Yep,
They are
they do.
banking on that.
Yep,
They're banking on that.
correct.
Now they not even going they don't even care. They're not gonna vote, they're not gonna show up, they're not gonna tweet about it, they're not gonna talk about it, because they think it's a ruse anyway. We got them right where we want them.
And you know what even helps? Now we have a social media, just a social media conglomerate that now will feed into just foolishness of conspiracies. And then you got people saying, "Oh, you got to do your own research." Well, sir, all you did was look on a YouTube video or
Oh,
a random video that could be AI generated,
yep,
a video also that doesn't have any factual or evidence by it, but you question, but
yep,
disregard that, but you question every single thing that's truth too.
yep,
So it's like, where are you grounded in what is truth and what isn't?
yep. That's right. That's right.
If we can't have an agreement on what's truth from fact, or excuse me, what's fact versus fiction, we don't have any places to actually have a genuine discussion.
No, right, right. And I have been, of course, going around preaching and things like that. And
Hmm.
this past last Sunday was my grandfather's like official ceremonial retirement, and I had to preach that. Josh, the world has crept inside of our churches so much.
Hmm.
I was preaching, and you could hear a rat licking ice,
Wow.
and it's like I know you hear what I'm saying because ain't nobody talking about me.
Hmm.
You look at me dead in my face, but you do not like what I'm saying.
Hmm.
You don't want to get down with what I'm saying it because, and I was giving them the analogy of my chickens. I said,
Hmm.
Josh, my chickens, all they know is when they see me, some food is coming. That's all they know. I said, but real chicken owners know, Josh, I don't determine what piece of grain they pick up. That's on them. My job is to just throw it down.
Hmm.
I said, now, church, you know the sad part? It's going to be some people in here today that go home hungry because I'm the one throwing it down.
Hmm.
And they don't want it because I'm the one throwing it down. I'm preaching the word of God, true to the word. I'm not veering off topic. I'm staying on topic. I'm trying to relate to what happened in the scripture versus what we're
Hmm.
doing today. I'm giving you all the layout and you just will not accept it. And I say accept it because softly what I was attempting to do
Hmm.
was to, because I'm the third generation minister. And even though I wasn't looking for it, people were asking me to put in for the church
Oh,
so
wow.
that they could keep the legacy of the Lee name going.
Hmm.
Now, I knew that they didn't want that, but to appease some of the few people, I went on ahead and put my resume in. Not 2 days after that, I get another response saying, "Well, we're moving on from your resume," which I had already knew they was going to do.
Hmm.
But Josh, it's really crazy because even though I knew they were going to do that, to actually see it and witness it is something different.
Yeah.
When I had to stand in there last Sunday and preach, they were not. I'm tell you like this: The people, the people want it. The people want, they want to keep the tradition and the, you have the tradition, but this guy is
Mhm.
young enough to move us forward. The people want that. What's happening is you have a very small percentage of people who are actually doing the picking. So then what happens is they come up with their rotation of people that they like. And much like our government, when I present to the people who our candidates are, in the Baptist world, they may come up with 4 names to give to the congregation.
Yep.
Well, the congregation then has to vote on that one person or vote on one person. So they think they have the control to pick who the pastor is. And to a degree, you do.
Mhm.
Because out of these 4 names, you have to pick one. But what has happened is, Josh, the small percentage, the 2 or 3% percentage, have determined which 4 names you get to pick. And those people don't want the lead name to continue so we can move this thing forward and continue some of the great things that my grandfather has built up. And that's what I see what's happening in the church. They really don't want a stern, straightforward leader. They want somebody that's going to appease to them. They want somebody who's going to not ruffle a whole lot of feathers. And it seems like the world is creeping in more in the church than ever before,
You
from
know,
what I'm
sometimes
seeing.
I wonder if it was always that way and it's just more exposed to us because we're more aware.
I can get down with that. All
And I
right.
say
So
that
okay.
just from
So let me add this to that then. If that's the case, then that shirt that says I'm not my
answer.
I'm not my answer. So then that would apply to us because whatever Pop let go, I'm looking at it. I'm saying, no, we're gonna address that. I'm not Pop. Now he raised me and he brought us up, but we're not our
Mhm.
ancestors. We gonna This is not right, and I
But
don't mind calling you out on that.
But you know what else too? I combat that theory too a little bit because we forget who our ancestors were. Our
Yeah,
ancestors fought back. Sometimes it's not as promoted historically, and we
yeah.
have to do our own. Like we genuinely do have to dive deep to figure out. Oh, our ancestors did a lot more. They put up with a lot more too, but they did fight back. Those stories just
So,
aren't promoted because they.
so
But I think too, if when I think back to my younger days when I was first at Liberty, when I would go home and I would talk to my pastor, God rest his soul, and just the stories he would tell me, I was amazed like at the things that he put up with,
yeah,
and I was like, mm.
yeah,
And I remember one distinctive thing I remember him telling me was these folks would not, if you were on fire, these folks wouldn't throw a glass of cup of water on you.
right, right.
So it's like they did a lot of battling that we didn't even know about, or that we still don't even know about.
So why does it seem like you? So why does it seem like you're trying to stop me from fighting? If I see something, why is it now, or am I looking at it wrong?
No, I think what happened is there were two opposing forces, and when that other opposing force is now gone, this party can now rise and take a position of
Okay,
power, and now they can
okay.
operate and run things like they want to. So they
So
think.
boom, so boom. I told my grandfather, I said, Pop, some of them folk was secretly waiting on this day.
Uh-huh.
Don't fool yourself. I know you looking around and the balloons and pastor and we love you but see, I I have different goggles on. And
Hmm.
everybody, some of these people were waiting on this day.
What's that expression? Just because they smiley face, they don't mean they're your friend.
That's right. That's right.
Some people are.
My grandfather has been at that establishment leading it for 44 years.
Yep. Wow.
They're going to want to experience something new. And I can't blame them but so much
All right.
because they don't want to feel like Pop is in there all over again through me,
Yep.
you know. But
Hmm.
I also don't want you to leave yourself too exposed either because you could, it's a fine line and we're going to go this direction now. And before you know it, It's been a year and you ain't found nobody yet.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
can't tell you how many churches I go to. Matter of fact, the only churches I really go to is churches who don't have pastors.
Yep.
And they all give me the same reasonings. Each church think that they're so unique. No, you're not. All of y'all are dealing with the same thing. And why, Josh? Because it's a spirit.
Yep.
We're not dealing with people. It is a spirit in these churches that don't have leadership. That's why you don't have leadership.
Mm. Mm.
And those folks, some of them, were waiting on my grandfather to sit down.
Mm.
And they're saying, we will not let another Lee up in here. I ain't mad at them, but that may end up costing you.
But that shouldn't be your call. That should be, hey, we prayed about it. We have actually sought the Lord. We have even fasted, and we have gone before the church community. And that should be a unison decision, not just a few decision.
But that's the way it is.
And that's sad
Mm-hmm.
because that tells me that
But
we have allowed our flesh to make
because
decisions and not been spirit led.
what I was going to tell you was, and the reference I was going to make, Josh, if my grandfather was to get up on that past Sunday morning and
Hmm.
ask the people would say Quentin,
Hmm.
but the people don't have the say so. Look at
Hmm.
Gladiator back in 2000.
Hmm.
Caesar wanted Maximus to take over because he got the people. But Caesar's son, he had the authority, so to speak.
Hmm.
If Caesar could have got to the back home to Rome and pronounced Rome, Maximus is the new Caesar, it would have been so. But the enemy made sure that he didn't get back to deliver that message.
Hmm.
Commodus, yeah, that's his name, Commodus. So then
Hmm.
Commodus kills his dad Caesar to ensure that that message don't get back to Rome. And a small few on Commodus ensured that the truth didn't get out. Well, to my point, if you allow the small group to choose privately, the last thing they're going to do is choose Maximus. Because why? They know Maximus got the people.
Yeah. I mean, we
They
see that in
know,
politics today.
but right,
It's everywhere, unfortunately.
unfortunately, they
And
know that small group, they know Pastor Lee, if he's Caesar, he got the people. Over 44 years, oh yeah, he got the people.
yeah.
If he stand up and say, hey, my grandson is taking over leadership here at Chapel Grove Baptist Church, they know they don't have the numbers to say it won't be so,
Mm.
right? And when announced, the church or the people would rally behind it so well, now they've
Mm.
lost the control. So what the enemy does is and now when I say enemy, what happened in this case, my grandfather being the good and great guy that he is, he did not want to seem like a dictator to then do that. So he didn't do that.
Hmm.
And I respect him for that. But he didn't get up and say, hey, this is what it's going to be. I'm sitting down now. It's going to be this person. He didn't do that. And I respect him for that because he didn't want to make it seem like he was moving
Anointed.
his
Yep.
right. So he said, well, no, well, privately, he's saying, I'm just going to let them pick. I'm going to sit down and let them do what they do. And
Hmm.
my thinking is, but you're leaving it in the hands of Commodus. But here's the thing too. Remember in the movie, General Maximus told him, Caesar, I don't want that. I don't want that. I just want to go back home to my vineyard, my fine wife, and my little son. I ain't seen him in 2 years. I just want to go back there. And Caesar said, that's why it has to be you, because you don't want it. Commodus wants it too bad. You don't want it. That's why it has to be you.
When you
And
want it that bad, you become corrupt easily.
right, yes.
Yeah.
And that small group that's picking, they want it too bad. They want to control the pick too bad.
Yeah.
And I fear that it's going to end up hurting them because I go around to churches that it's already hurting them.
Mm.
I'll give you a small example too, right quick. You know, we take care of fish tanks.
Right.
Josh, if I introduce the same amount of poison in a 55-gallon tank and a 10-gallon tank, The 10-gallon tank is going to go down quicker
Yep.
because it's a smaller ecosystem. 55-gallon tank will go down eventually, but you don't really notice it because it's a bigger ecosystem.
Hmm.
Well, in the smaller churches, the same amount of poison, it went down quicker.
Yep.
But what the bigger churches don't understand, you got the same poison in you too. You just ain't seen it yet because your ecosystem is bigger. But what gives you the right to then look at the smaller church that done shut down and see, dang, and see, but you don't understand.
Is there
Yours
too.
is there too. The
It's just
same
taking a little
poison
bit longer to go through.
because you had a bigger ecosystem. That's
Hmm.
it. But eventually, if left unchecked, it's gonna get you too.
Yep.
And they're living
But
on the. Go ahead.
sometimes I think that's it's an unfortunate, necessary reality that has to happen
Like a forest fire.
because, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about politics because I got my
Mm-hmm.
my people posted. It's the darkness that has to. It's the exposure that has to happen so that
Yeah.
things can be truly addressed. Unfortunately, it's the
Yep.
reality that some people have to see because they've been in a disillusioned mindset since 2016 or 2015. It's and for some people, they will never get out of this disillusion. Some of them are going to be stuck in it forever. God bless them. But then
All right.
others they're waking up. And in regards to the church, when they see, oh wow, and like I saw it myself, like when you see the truth finally exposed because nothing can hide it anymore. There's nobody
Right.
that's trying to cover up things anymore. There's nobody in positions to cover up or take or who can try to not necessarily cover it. Well, they cover it up to a degree, and they don't cover it up like trying to be sneaky, but cover it up trying to make stay face.
All right. No, no. Or this is what I told them Sunday. A good leader, Josh, covers
Hmm.
like a parent covers a child.
Yeah.
Your stuff wasn't exposed because your parents covered a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
My grandfather has been such a good leader. He's covered a lot of stuff. Not that
Yep.
he's hiding, but a good leader covers.
Yep.
And like you said, 44 years he's been their pastor. So the ones that's in their 60s and 70s now, he's been their pastor since they was 22, 25.
He's buried the church.
Right. So it may be a necessary thing for them to see what it's like outside of that sequesters, outside of that
Hmm.
protection, that
Yep.
covering that you've had for 44 years. Maybe they need to see that.
And that's an opportunity for growth for them because it's going to allow them to either speak up or sit there in the foolishness. Who
Okay.
wants to sit there in the foolishness?
Right. Okay. Right.
No, nobody wants to.
Right.
Hopefully, I don't. I would hope you would be aware that something stinks. I don't want to sit in this.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right. But that may take, if you look at the prodigal son,
Hmm.
it may take you having to sit in some stuff
Yeah, eat from
before
the
you come
trough
to
like the
yourself.
pigs.
Before you come to
Yep.
yourself. And you say,
Yep.
oh man, I had it better when I was back, you know, and it takes that sometimes.
Yep. It does. So what did Tyler Perry say? You can't appreciate up until you've been down.
Hello. Hello.
Sometimes low is low. You got to be low.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Because and in those situations too, sometimes it creates that desire, creates that drive because you like, look, I can't do this anymore. I can't eat like the pigs are eating because this don't taste right. We got to start
Right.
doing something else to get that true,
Yes.
genuine meat that and substance that I need.
Yes. Yes. And whether, yes, yes, I need, this is not me.
Hmm.
This is not what I was meant for. How did I get here? What happened? Yeah, I'm with that.
Because I mean, we even see in the workforce where some of us don't leave until a horrible boss just for
Correct.
some reason keeps staying.
Keep
And
staying.
you like,
Right.
look, Lord, I can't do this no more. And Lord's like, look, the door is opening. Or he just makes it so uncomfortable that he forces you to become active.
Josh, I said, you preaching, because I said the same thing last Sunday. I
Mm,
said I was in a position over 10 years ago in the AV ministry. And
hmm.
Josh, I was comfortable there. I'm putting the words and songs up on the screen. I'm working in the church. I'm active in the church.
Hmm.
God, just let me do that. Let me do the sound. Let me do the AV. I'm serving. I'm good. But he had to agitate that position, Josh, because he said,
Yep.
no, if I don't, Quentin is good. He's just gonna stay there.
Hmm.
He likes the computers and the screens and the sound. He'll stay there. So I have to agitate him in that position to where he's gonna get out, even if he had to get out frustrated
Yep.
or
That's true.
hurt.
Yep.
Yeah. So yep. I've been there. I've been there. I left frustrated and hurt, but I've been there. Yep.
Mhm.
But now, 10 years later, I can look back and say, okay, all right, that needed to happen because
Yep.
I won't go move. I
True.
was as content can be. Let me get all the screens and the updated software, and I'm good. But God said, no, I got more for you.
And it's nice when you have friends and people that can see that too in your life.
Yeah. Yep.
Now,
Yep.
here's a caveat with that. You have people that can see that you are more than what you are currently in, but at the same time, they should be able to celebrate where the Lord has brought you from too. Because some people enter your life in a certain season and they think they know they think that because they see that you can do more, and I'm speaking from experience, they see that you're capable of doing more, but they don't get the full picture of where God how hard it was to even get you to the season that you're currently in. And it's like I'm not complacent. I'm just learning to be content right now for this season. I know there is more, and I need you in my life because I need you to constantly keep reminding me that Lord, there is more for me, and keep praying for me, and keep making sure that the Lord continuously agitates my spirit. But you can't be the God of my life telling me I need to jump when He says don't jump yet.
That's crazy. That's why I'm real weary, Josh, of who I put in my circle
Hmm. You have to be.
because I can't afford you to be in my circle undermining or not understanding where I come from.
Hmm.
B, even though I'm at where I'm at now, which is more than where I was at, I'm still not comfortable in this spot. And God is still agitating me, even in this elevated spot.
Yep. Yep.
So I can't have you mishandle that information, that sensitive information about my life,
Correct.
because God is still working on me and agitating me and moving me. And that's why I'm real careful about who I bring in my life, because if they come in now, it's like they get a certain glimpse and they either disrespecting my past or they don't accept
Mm,
where I say I'm going. It's,
correct.
it's one of the two. I can't have either one around me.
Correct. And that's wisdom.
Yeah. Now, everything is a cost, Josh.
Yep.
We have to pay for that wisdom.
Yeah.
That wisdom comes with a cost. It comes with a cost of isolation, loneliness, depression, confusion at times. It comes with a price. Now you're going to come out of it because God is still with you.
Definitely.
You're going to go where He wants you to go because He's still walking with you. But it comes at a cost. You don't get this thing that I got easily. I had somebody come to me after church and say, "Man, let me get your handkerchief and wipe it on my forehead so I can get some of that." But it don't work like that.
No, because there's
If
a whole story behind it.
if right, are you sure you want what I got? Because to get what I got, I got how much time you got. You don't get it that way.
Uh-huh.
I had to agonize with this anointed gift. I didn't just sit in and say, "Here's the gift," and God, man, I'm getting ready to go out here, and it don't happen that way for the truly anointed ones of Christ.
Mm.
Just as He suffered, He requires certain of us to suffer too. He requires that of us. You and see, I don't know. I'm not trying to shift here, but I have yet. Lord knows I'm not trying to shift. I have yet to find a woman who understood what I just said.
Mhm.
That, honey, what I do comes at a great cost.
Mhm.
Just because you can't see the cost of the paying of a bill, or I can see you paid a lot for that truck or that house, just because you can't, because if you see me with a big house, you know I had to pay a big cost, and we can see that with your eyes. If he's driving a big Cadillac Escalade, you can see, okay, in order to get that, he had to do a certain type of work to get that.
Mhm.
The cost I'm talking about, honey, is not paid monetarily. And there's a cost that I had to make an agreement with God back in the day to walk this thing out. And even
Yep.
though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Paying a cost, Josh, I pay a cost on Friday and Saturday when my kids are gone because first of all, I'm in agony that they're gone. That's the
Hmm.
first thing. That's the first thing. Second, I got money in my pocket now. If I want to let my hair down, I can choose to do so. Now, with those two realities, I'm in agony because of where God has me currently. And you're
Hmm.
warring in the spirit of, do I let my hair down or do I stay firm for Christ? So, sweetheart, that's a cost. And I haven't come across one that understands that or will even accept me saying, because a lot of people, Josh, if you tell them you're Christian, if you tell them you're saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy
Hmm.
Ghost, they assume that you don't have issues.
Hmm.
They assume that you live some magnanimous life that just offers you so many great and wonderful opportunities to live happily and be blessed and be resourceful and all these great things. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen for us, but
Hmm.
it doesn't happen like that. Everything that I got through Christ, I had to agonize for.
Yeah.
It didn't, and even then, on some stuff I'm still waiting to see. Now I'm fighting my flesh to not jump ahead of God.
That part right there.
That's my struggle. Because, like I said, I got the money, I got the resources, I got the spot, I got the blah, 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 whoop de whoop. And now I'm warring in my flesh not to jump ahead of God. That's a cost you have to pay.
Yep.
And I
Definitely.
have yet to really, now I got 3 or 4 guy friends that really get it.
Hmm.
But I haven't come across any female friends that understand it to that level of depth. I'm not saying they're not out there. I just
Right.
haven't
Definitely.
witnessed it. Yeah.
Yep. And I think that you see that with just, I think you see that with anybody,
Yeah.
where we need that. We like the tangible proof. Like, was it Thomas? Lord, if it's
Uh,
truly you, let me touch it. We need that tangible proof.
yeah.
And so when we see people in a certain season of their life, and we don't see certain things within that season, we
Yeah.
start to doubt who they are as a person. And now some people have the ability to be able to be in that space, be in that mindset, but also understand that, okay, I don't know the full story, and I don't know how the story will fully develop or fully unfold. But let me sit right here. Let me work with them. Let me stand at their side. Let me be within that circle, because maybe what's going to happen is there's some growing that they're doing right now that I just don't get to, that I'm going to be able to be witness to.
But that person, Josh, has to be really in the word to understand that.
They do. They do.
Because look at Job's friends. What they had done was they had started to question his character.
And they ran to conclusions, and that conclusions were
Right.
wrong. The Lord had rebuked them.
We know Job. We sit with him all the time.
Hmm.
We can't visually see where he's cursed God, he's done anything wrong. We can't see it. We ain't heard nothing in the streets. Something must be going on inside of him because this is crazy. Like, where did this come? What did he do?
But I think too, some people was plainly, simply, some people need to shut up. Just shut up. And because the thing that they started off right, you know what they started off right? They were shut up and they just sat with them, and they
Yeah,
learned how to be with him
yeah,
in that
yeah.
season.
Right,
The minute they
right.
messed up is when they started opening their mouths and trying to give advice and guidance.
Because
Even though
Josh,
even though
look,
they probably had the right intentions.
I'm sure at first, especially, yeah, I'm sure. But here's the thing, Josh. When you are sitting with me, I don't even know what God is doing.
Mm,
That's the thing. I can't give you an answer for what's going on. I all I know to do is to just endure. I know I'm not
hmm.
going to curse him. I'm not going to lay God out. I may question it from time to time, but I don't know what he's. And see, a lot of people too, Josh, with the tangibles.
Hmm.
Too many people need to see it before they believe it.
Hmm.
So I struggle with God sometimes because I'm like, am I not a pastor because they can't see it? Am I not a husband because the women can't see it? Because if I look at the church as being a wife and I look at the women that I'm trying to date or marry,
Hmm.
it's like the same thing. It's like they need to see something. So now I'm like, God, as hard as I'm walking this line, and Josh, I'm walking the line so hard, sometimes I'm questioning, am I holding the line too hard? But anyway, so now I'm like, God, if they need to see it, why don't you open their eyes a little bit so they can see it? Quentin, can't physically really do much more than what I'm doing to get them to see it, and they still won't see it.
He said, "Because the right one ain't there yet."
I'm with you. Or a woman or a church, but I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Hmm.
I'm with
And
you.
it's like, but that patience, like, Lord, can I at least
Yeah,
get a little something, like a little slice of cake or something while I'm waiting this
right,
season?
right,
Just something to help keep
right.
you holding on, holding on. But then that's where that
Yes,
circle comes in. Joe's friends, but they didn't do it right. But that's where that circle's
right.
supposed to come in to continue to encourage, to continue to equip you,
Yeah,
not to doubt where the Lord is doing or to start to question what the Lord is doing, but to simply encourage or to be a presence.
yeah. Because what I don't want to, like for our viewers out there, whenever I say question, and I know you understand this, I'm not meaning it in a derogatory way. I'm reverencing God. I respect God. And
Mhm.
sometimes even guys like us, we say, God, what's going on?
Yeah, and I think it's necessary to wrestle with
Okay,
the Lord. Like He wants to know our hearts. Like obviously
okay.
He knows it because He's
But
omniscient, but
yeah,
still having that genuine, open, honest conversation. Like, Lord, look,
yeah,
I don't know what's going on. I'm having a hard time believing you're faithful to who you say you are at times. Lord,
right.
help me in my doubts, help me in my disbelief, or Lord, I just don't know anymore. And then he
Yes,
might give you that Job 38, where were you
right,
kind of session.
right.
Or he
You
might
know,
allow that brother to come and, as iron sharpens iron.
right. Yes. Cause this is what I ask him, Josh. This is what I wrestle with him with. God, I have to be holding the line too hard because I'm a strict guy and
Hmm.
I don't do a whole lot of foolishness and I don't hang around no whole lot of people. And then if I do come across a church or meet a lady,
Hmm.
my line seems to be so stiff. God, I must be holding the line too hard. That's what I struggle with him with because
Hmm.
Josh, if I was on the left side of the fence in some instances, I
Hmm.
might have already had a church. I've been in some situations to where if they could have found some dirt on me, that probably
Hmm.
would have benefited me because look at Denzel in Training Day. He was trying to tell Jake. Jake was saying, it can't be this way. I just want to clean up the streets and be a good cop. And he's saying, look, man, I hate to bust your bubble. I get it. I used to be you. But it ain't like that. This is how it is. They got to have a little dirt on you to trust you. And my experience has been I went in so green because I'm looking at my grandfather in his later years. I'm coming in so green thinking I got to be some Mr. Rogers type guy. And then it's like they not picking that guy. But my experience has been if I was Alonzo in Training Day, I might already been in there. And that's what bothers me sometimes. That's what I struggle with.
Hmm.
I've had women, Josh, that if I just decided to move them in, I could have had
Hmm.
that. I could have had that. But
Hmm.
I didn't want to cross that line because I love God and I'm trying to do it a certain way. But
Right.
when I said, "Hey, let's do it the right way," they moved. They left. And I'm like, "Wait a minute now, Lord. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's going on here? What's happening? How
A
did
mis-
I
it was a misalignment. It wasn't never
but
going to
I
be aligned, so he just removed it.
but I think that's happening in the church too.
Hmm.
It's a misalignment somewhere cuz I've had churches that I've preached that, and I'm like, y'all can't see what's you can't see me. Avatar they do this. Y'all can't see me. You can't look at me and say that's who we need. You can't see that. So then I get within myself saying, maybe I didn't do something right. Maybe I don't have enough. Maybe I'm not saying the right stuff. Maybe when I preach I'm too hard and like maybe I need to preach fruits of the spirit or something, or about the trees and the flowers a little bit. But it's like so that's kind of what I struggle with in my life and in my ministry.
And I think I think that's good also to be reflective too. Be reflective in the practice. Start saying, okay, because certainly we don't want to always say, okay, Lord, I'm doing everything right. And Lord's like, there's always room for growth. But I think we also,
Always.
it is okay to
Yeah.
be reflective too, to be like, okay, doors aren't opening. Lord, is it something that I am genuinely doing, or is there some confessed sin or whatever? Is there
Well,
something that where I'm not where the doors is being held back by me?
okay, see, so then what happens to me then, Josh, if I do make a mistake,
Hmm.
I feel so bad
Mm,
because I'm like holding the line so hard. If I do slip, now I'm borderline depressed. Like, man, how did I? If
hmm.
God, if it was on my heart to either speak to somebody or give somebody some money or do something and I didn't do it, I'm like, ah, man, maybe that's the reason I kind of get in on myself then. But you're right,
Mm.
because we all slip. But for
Yep.
me, my slips feel so much more personal because it's like what God is like me, the relationship He and I have. And I respect Him so much that I don't want Him to know that I have made a mistake. You know what I'm saying?
So I had a recent friend that has first time we met. He asked me, "Are you being gracious to yourself equally as you be gracious to others? Are
Okay.
you extending yourself that same grace, that same patience, that same ability to be to where you can be easily forgiven for your slip up or for your mistake as you're for doing for others? Are you still, or are equally too? Are you loving on yourself? Are you giving that time to you know give yourself that mental space and mental opportunities to where you can reflect and have peace and be like, okay, I made a mistake here, but yet I'm still somebody,
My short, quick answer to that, no.
Yeah, same. That was my response at the time too. And some
Yeah.
days it's still that response.
Yeah. My jerk reaction is no. And I don't know if that's because of my heart and I'm always thinking of others or trying to do something for others that is not
Hmm.
really a lot of time for self reflection because you're
Hmm.
always like putting out for other people, always there for other people. I don't know if it's because of that, but yeah, my jerk reaction is no.
Hmm. And see,
Yeah.
I can be good, really good for that. So I can over busy myself. Or people say you have too much in your schedule, where you try to burn the candle at both ends. And it's like at some point you start to realize you're not Superman. My former
All right.
elder, and I was gonna say my former elder,
Yeah.
when I was the youth pastor for a season at my former church, I kept telling him, "You need to slow down. You need to slow down. You need to slow down." I will. I'm gonna slow down. And I think he's 50 or 40 or 50 something year old man. And if you ever heard this, I hope you forgive me if I get his age wrong. But what happens? Few weeks later, his wife was telling him too. Few weeks later, he gets COVID. He gets COVID for almost a month, where he has a fever
Wow.
for I think 16. I forget how many days, but it was in the teens. He had a fever, and he had the moment where he realized, like, okay, like he was constantly doing something for the church or constantly at the church, and it's like you're a person. Like we are human. We are limited in our capacity for a reason. There's a reason that the God of the universe, who is omnipotent, even in all his power, chose. He made the choice. It wasn't because he had to. He chose to. He rested on the seventh day.
Now, I think then what you're saying, what's happening is culturally, Josh, we've had to do so much more just to remain even from
Sure.
the other cultures. And it's like if I don't work doubly hard to get what they get just by working singly hard, I'm behind.
And some part of me wonders if there's a demonic spirit within that too,
Okay.
to where where our, and we're going to speak in the American realm, to where our economy and the finances of, and I'm speaking for myself, but just the financial circumstances are not allowing us to be able to rest, to where
Bingo.
we are mentally in a mindset to where we constantly have to work constantly, constantly, constantly. And like
So
I was
if
guilty the other night when I was talking to a friend, and I couldn't even and hadn't realized that I wasn't even truly focused on the conversation, because even while I was talking to him, I was doing more work.
right,
And it's like at some point you got to stop, you got to slow down. Like the work is still going to be there in the morning, but where's
right.
the opportunity? Where's the space to where A, you can rest, or B, you can even just invest in the relationships that you want to develop?
I have been working on this piece in my mind. I ain't wrote it down yet, but
Hmm.
I use the analogy of a dining room table, and somewhere about how the dining room table has has the dining room table costs you so much more. So are you thinking to yourself that you don't have nobody to sit down at the dining room table that you can't even afford to get? And
Mm.
it's like the previous generation's dining room table now to even get and the dining room table is a metaphor. For instance, if you look at the rent and the mortgages today,
Yep.
my dining room table for a space that a viable mate will look at me and see me as an option costs me $1,500 a month.
Yep.
Now, I'm not paying that now. I'm just using it as a metaphor.
Right.
If I want a dining room table, Josh, it's gonna cost me $1,200 to $1,500 a month.
Correct.
And it's like, to your point of that demonic slip in, now your brain is so focused on the dining room table. I got to get that dining room table. I got to get that dining room table. I got to work to be able to buy that dining room table. Well, now, Josh, you need a dining room to put the dining room table in. But
Yep.
now that dining room is connected to a house that now you got to be able to pay for that house to put that dining room table in. And now all
Correct.
these things are in our minds. And you wake up thinking about it. You go to bed thinking about it. You're overworking. You're working double time, triple time to afford that dining room table. And to your point, we can't rest.
We're not allowed to. Like,
You're not allowed to.
and because if you rest, now you can't afford something.
Josh, on Friday and Saturday, you know how hard we work during the week.
Hmm.
What in the world is wrong with me sitting down and watching a movie on Friday or Saturday night? But in my brain, I'm thinking, wait a minute, no, I can't do that. I can't
Yep.
sit down and watch a movie because I be doing something. I'm not where I need to be. Something has to be done, and that's where my brain is at.
That was me this morning when I was doing.
Okay,
I was trying. I've been. You know how I've tried to watch Hercules 3 times this week. 3 times. I think was it 3 or 4 times? It might be 4 times. To be honest with you, today was the first time that I was technically able to watch it without falling asleep. But
yeah,
I was still doing lesson plans, so I might
yeah,
watch it. Try to watch it again, along with another movie, Beef Vendetta tonight. It's just that for me, it is hard to sit down and be still.
yeah,
Even and I'm not even talking about the biblical sense. I am talking
right,
simply just being still,
yep,
not having my hands or doing something, not having my brain think about something.
yep.
And
I
I
was,
can't
I was,
stand it.
I can't stand it either because I was watching. I was trying to. I'm trying to make my way through all of the John Wicks,
Hmm.
and I love it so much, but I couldn't even. I ain't had nothing to do, and 10 minutes after sitting down, I'm standing up, and I had to catch myself, Josh. I was leaning on the back of the chair watching John Wick, and something hit me like dummy. Just sit down in the
Sit down.
chair.
Yep.
I'm standing up, leaning on the back of the chair watching the movie. Bro, just sit down.
Yep. Yep. That's me. And it's
Man,
like,
that's
and it's sometimes you almost feel guilty
yeah,
for even in having a moment of just enjoyment and not working. And I think
yep,
that's the demonic part of it,
yep,
where we have forgotten how to just sit and be.
and rest. Yep,
And then, so now we also don't know how to, mingle with others. We
yep,
don't know how to talk and socialize with our family members or our friends for that matter,
yep,
because we always feel like we have to work, or we always
yep,
feel like we have to talk about work.
yep,
And the truth of the
yep.
matter, it doesn't have to be that way
Nope.
sometimes. But then there's another part too, where the reality of circumstances is, if I don't work these hours and if I don't bring home this paycheck, then something ain't getting paid or something ain't getting eaten this week, and that's a problem too.
It is.
This can't be the world that the Lord has made, and we can
It can't
rejoice and be
be.
glad in His name. Like, there's some
And
part of man that has just jacked it up. That it's like, this is
yes,
ridiculous.
yes.
This is ridiculous.
We have more now, Josh, than our forefathers had, and we can't even rest in it.
Correct. Correct. I saw a post the other day that said the stoplight was invented, then they created traffic tickets. What else?
Whew.
The electricity was invented, but then they created a light bill. It's like things that were made to help us that didn't have to have a monetary gain to it. We're given a monetary gain so that somebody, some rich cat, can profit off of it,
Yep. Yep.
creating a perpetual cycle that didn't have to be there.
Didn't have to be there.
You
Shouldn't
think
be there.
no. And if you think about it, and I understand we live in a fallen world, so I understand it. But if you think about it, there's a lot of things that if we just didn't have to pay for it, and if people just willingly did it out of the goodness of their heart,
Right.
but sin nature, we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Nope.
Electricity, food,
Nope.
groceries. If we just genuinely did things because we cared about people, even medical bills, medicine. But sin nature, where people are greedy, people are overindulgent, gluttony. So,
Because look at it, Josh. Let's say we did get a house where we paying a mortgage, but
mhm,
now look at the upkeep. Now you got overhead. Now
property taxes.
I was talking to somebody the other day. They was telling me how they had to pay property taxes on their car, and it's
Mhm,
like I got to pay property taxes on my vehicle. I'm already, and now it's like I'm double paying for the car because I'm
you are.
already paying taxes on the car. I have a car note, and then once a year you tax all that, and that's a big sum I got to pay just to drive a vehicle.
Yeah. It feels like a scam.
Just to drive a vehicle, only to work to get the money to pay for the vehicle.
It feels like a scam. And God forbid if it's brand new,
God, I forbid if it's brand new.
especially when you had
Nah,
no choice. Not you didn't have a choice, but you want to taste it too, like everybody
but
else. So you got
but
a new
Josh,
vehicle, and praise God you
Josh,
did.
I got a new vehicle because I was tired
Mhm.
of putting money in my old one.
And see, that's where people get you. They think, oh, you should just get something used. No, there's things that also come along with that. That you mess around, get a
Josh,
used vehicle if you want to, it'll be a limit.
I had a Ford Explorer, a old one.
Hmm.
I loved it. But Josh, it was leaking antifreeze so bad. I had just gotten to the point to where I was keeping a thing of antifreeze in the back because I knew I was gonna have to refill it. And every
That's
week I'm putting
costly.
money into antifreeze because I already knew it's smoking, it's overheating. But oh, it's a used car. It's a what? But it's still costing me.
All right. Everything that glitters ain't gold.
Right. So like you just said, they telling, well, just get something used. Well, that's gonna cost you too.
Yeah, it will. And if something go out, might
Now
cost you more.
it's gonna cost you more. Now I can say my new vehicle that I got, I've had no issues out of it. But
Hmm.
Josh, you gonna pay out the wazoo too.
Correct.
So they still got you.
Correct. It's a
They still
system, a
got you.
perpetual system that does not have to be this way.
Nope.
It genuinely does not. But
Nope.
that would be also banking on the goodness of men, and if well,
Well, but
we know how
see
that
that
goes.
that's been gone. That was
Unfortunately,
gone with the third person ever born. That been gone. Yeah. So then it
we could
makes
have
you
been better.
wonder, Josh, what in the world did God even intend? We've never really seen it.
Mm,
I can't even read it in the Bible for the first few chapters for somebody dying. What did he
mm,
intend?
something much better than this.
I would think so.
Because I'm like, and at times, it has glimmers of okay, we have some goodness in it. We see that goodness is evident sometimes. But then other times you like, Lord, this is just darkness. This is just wickedness. Like I'm not also going to be one of those people. I forget where I saw this. I'm not going to be one of those Christians either who is like, Lord Jesus, just dear Lord, come back and just be so and romanticize the coming of the Lord either.
Yes.
Because when we do that, I think some of us neglect our responsibilities to still be like active in the world too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where so for example, we see an issue, political, social, whatever, and we know it's a problem, but we're like, I'm just going to pray about it and move on, and I'm not going to be involved. Well, the Lord still wants us to be actively involved. So whether that
I,
means you're going to the shelter and serving, or you're actively going there to see what clothes they physically need, or if they need a shower, like you still can be actively involved. Yes, we pray that the Lord will come back, and we know that, and we look forward to that day. But you still got a responsibility. And so I think
yes.
some Christians have unfortunately fall into that mindset of just romanticizing the coming of the Lord and neglected their active responsibility that they still have too.
Well, I think that's why Christians are here on earth to
Hmm.
serve, to serve.
Correct.
Somewhere in the scriptures it says Jesus came not to be served, but to serve.
Serve. Yep. Indeed.
I mean, I really believe that. If the homeless man is on the street and we pass him by, God sent us to pass him by.
True. That is very true.
That's why you happened to walk by when he was standing out there. That's not by
Mm.
happenstance. And
No.
most of the time we walk right by it because it's the daily, because we caught up in our grind too. And God is saying, you're supposed to be helping that person.
But
But you so
too now, and that I've noticed too, especially when it comes to our homeless population, it's a oh, we don't know what their circumstances are. We don't know what they're truly there for. We don't really know because I've seen all the X, Y, and Z, so you can't trust them. So you just neglect your involvement
right,
because you saw one video or two videos.
right.
You
Yep.
felt asked,
And yep.
and
And
like certainly you have to use wisdom. Yes, I'm not saying do
of
not walk
course,
in wisdom,
of
but
course.
also at the same time we need to be walking in obedience too.
But see, when we say walk in on wisdom, I hear what they're saying. You got to be careful. Well, yeah, careful in the sense of maybe bringing them in your home or something like that.
Correct.
But if I give you something, it's no longer my responsibility how you handle what I gave you.
Correct.
That's on God.
Correct.
So if we give and you can give something, don't not give because, like you say, you saw a couple of videos, now you're not going to give. You may not bring them back to your domicile, but it's something you can do.
Correct.
If they misuse that, that's not on you.
Correct. It's not my responsibility to worry about how you
That's right.
abuse what you've been blessed with.
No, that's not on us. God say, I'll repay all that. He said, give and it shall be given unto you. He didn't say who to give to or what to, he said, give
Mm.
and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together with good measure running over.
Mm.
The more you give, the more he gives to you. So I
Yeah.
think it's part of our duty is to give. And when I look at our nation, it's like we're taking control and we're not giving. When you look at what has been done in Cuba, what has been done in, I think it was
Mm.
Venezuela, and now over in Iran, it's like, what's going on with our leadership and why are they not there? Where's the
Stepping
love
up
at? Right.
at
And
mm.
you know who I fought to, and maybe I could be wrong and not doing enough homework.
Mhm.
I fought the UN
Mm.
because, and I could be wrong, but where are y'all at? What are y'all saying about what's going on? Or can you say anything?
Yeah.
Because you can't say it against the who's doing it because they're too powerful.
I've
You got to
wondered
be
that.
watching.
I've wondered a lot.
You
I've
got to be
wondered
watching just
why
like
people
we
aren't.
are.
Yeah, indeed. Because I've wondered why certain people, even here, aren't speaking up like they should in the supposedly opposition party. Like at some point, you got to. Who are you serving? Are you serving the people, or
Yep.
are you certain big cats that's
Yep.
benefiting off of the foolishness and you not speaking up?
Yep.
Because at some point we got to call a spade a spade.
Yes.
Wickedness is
Yes.
wickedness. We cannot sit
Yes.
here and conduct ourselves and pretend like certain things ain't going on or certain people aren't conducting themselves in a manner that is very similar to a person in 19, from the 1940s, 19, you know who
Yep.
I'm talking about. Um,
Yep.
it just becomes to a point where it's like, this is foolishness. Foolishness
Yep.
is foolishness. When are we going to stand up against it? That's the question.
Yeah. Did you see what happened in the house the other day when he wanted a certain side to stand and they didn't stand?
Yeah, I sat there and praise the Lord that I listened to. There's a guy named Alan Litchman that I watched it through, and he and his son they do a podcast and they stream. He has the 13 Keys to the White House, and I sat there and I was so thankful for his commentary because at points, I just even when I was watching him, I had to stop because I was like, this is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Mhm.
You are not truly having anything of substance to
Yep.
deliver to the nation. You're
Yep.
using people as props. And we respect and honor those who, serve our nation. We respect and honor those who have contributed to society in a proactive, positive way. But they are allowing you, or who have had the horrible, horrendous things done to them. We honor those, and we want to make sure they're loved on and know that they are cared for. But when you take advantage of people's trauma, or you take advantage
Mhm.
of people's honor,
Mhm.
and you use it to prop yourself up or to
Mhm.
promote a certain propaganda message, that's wrong.
Yep.
And I've seen so many people on the look of the face talking about, I don't care what, I'm not political, but when somebody does something and is a military, you stand up and honor it. No, 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 no. No, because what's happening is they are being used as a prop to
Mhm.
promote a certain message. It's not
Mhm.
about them. So you don't sit there and endorse foolishness just because it has the glimmers and the looks of something that's positive and great.
Mhm.
We've got
Mhm.
we've got to start being okay with being uncomfortable a little bit.
Yes.
We've got to get back to, we just have to
Yeah.
call a spade and stop with the foolishness. Stop with the malarkey.
Uh, did you see about a year ago over in New Zealand where the young lady did the haka in the
Hmm.
meeting?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
where is like yes, where is that?
Oh, that won't happen here.
I
That's
got you. Yeah.
considered, because you
Yeah.
see what they did to Congressman Al Frank last year, or excuse me, Al Green, not Al Frank.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's the wrong guy. But Congressman Al Green, and you had people in his own party sit there and join in the rebuke, his
Yeah.
rebuke, and it's like,
Yeah.
you don't have change because y'all sit here and want to just pretend like things are like they used to be,
Yep.
and that's the problem. And you don't get change by doing the same things you've been doing. Y'all been doing the same
No.
thing since what, 2008,
Yep.
2009, and
Yep.
expecting the same results, and you wonder why you keep getting your butt kicked.
Yep.
Where's the fire? Where's the passion? Like, it ain't when they go low. And I appreciate former first lady, and she's come back and actually spoken on what she meant by that statement and what
Right.
that means. She said that statement was never meant to simply say you just let people treat you any type of way and do anything to you.
Okay. All right. Right. Right.
But what it does mean is, shoot, you know your worth.
Yeah.
And you fight
Yes.
when it's time to fight, and you handle business like you're
Yes.
supposed to handle business. You can't
Yes.
sit there and just. And Sister Act too, when she told, I can't remember the boy's name, but the homeboy that did Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then um, Oh Happy Day. She said they can't hear you if you're
Oh,
not going to be willing to speak up and enunciate your words. You got to speak.
yeah.
You got to declare what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing for certain people. You have to declare, and you got to be out there. You
Yep.
can't keep allowing the opposition to sit here and be able to promote their message.
No. No.
And at that, a message of lies, foolishness, things that are
Right.
destroying the very nation that you live in.
Yes. All right. Quick question. How do you think Malcolm would be handling this?
Which Malcolm?
I'm not.
The old Martin. Well, they only promote the "I have a dream" Martin, but they
Yeah.
don't never promote the "You need to be marching with us, brother." They treating you
Right.
just as bad they treating us.
Right. 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 Right.
We like Martin was about peace, certainly, but yes, he was out. He was willing to disrupt and agitate as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and not through violence, but maybe through disruption.
Yeah. Right.
And I think we've gotten
Right.
to a place, and I think sometimes we've gotten to a place where we need to be mindful on how our way of combating certain things.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't, it doesn't necessarily need to look like it did back in the 60s or the 50s, but maybe in a different new way for our generation. But I also think we got a handful of
Yes.
us too that are choosing to remain ignorant to a lot of things. But I mean, if you look at it back then, they said it was only about 10% of the community that was involved in the civil rights era.
Right.
And just that, and with only 10%, just this much change has happened. Now, granted, we've regressed a little bit because they stricken down some of the civil rights vote, the civil right, or the voting rights bill in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to do it now. And by even got someone of color that's trying to vote it down. Make that
Yeah.
make sense.
Right. Right.
But yet, I'm supposed to honor this person at my career, at
Right.
my
Right.
job,
Right. 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 Right.
and I'm during
Right.
Black History Month.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But see, I think but see, all right. So then when I look at our children,
Hmm.
the fire has been taken out of them through overstimulation
Oof. Mm.
and through the comfortability of technology.
But it's
So
even been taken out
now
of us, slapped through those memes too.
it has the fire, that look in our eyes is not the same.
It's not.
And I'm talking culturally, because even younger people of other races don't care, it seems, especially the younger ones. You know who we deal with, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and I get it. A lot of them see, and when you go back to the civil rights movement, I'm assuming now, even in the 10%, it was being talked about. It was being, you see the protesting, you see the marchings, you see the Malcolm X's, you see the Martin Luther Kings, and you see the Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons, and these people trying to do what they can do. And now it's like, because of our because of what that built for us, it's like, why do I need to fight? Why do I need to? What am I fighting for? And it's like that has left us somehow. I don't know, but that has left us, because how can we, Josh, witness a George Floyd, for instance,
Hmm.
and it not shake some up in us, and it just should have been just totally changed since then. What has happened to our culture that we can see that on the phone, and it don't touch, because it's not touching us directly? We can just kind of lock it back into some trauma area that we've been dealing with and just block it away. What has happened to our people?
Like you said, I think the inundation of just so much information, so much content,
Yeah.
because at the same time, too, to combat some of the stuff of like the younger generation not being active, I remember listening to a podcast through one of my favorite people, Native and Land Podcast, which is run by like Angela Rye and at the time Tiffany Cross was on there, and my boy Andrew Gillum, he actually ran for governor of Florida a few years ago in 2018. He didn't win through some shady shenanigans, but they have the
Mm-hmm.
podcast and they invited a younger group of people who basically said like, but the older generation has to also be willing to hand off the baton. Like, in order for the baton to be handed off, somebody has to be willing to let it go. You got a whole bunch of people in these political positions, and maybe in some and we're talking about church communities too, who do not want to
Mm-hmm.
give up the power that they have, who don't want to give up those positions that they have. And so
Yeah,
when they unfortunately pass away, there's a vacuum that's left.
it
Well, you
is.
had the opportunity because in that position, and I heard somebody say a few weeks ago that their mom, her goal is to make sure she's equipped everybody else before she retires, equipped enough people to replace her. And there was
Okay.
some way that the lady had worded it. But the mindset being too, like, if I am a Paul, I need to make sure that I'm preparing the Timothys.
Yes.
Because I need to make sure that, God forbid, I go home to be with the good Lord sooner rather than later, that there's somebody that can instantly just walk into my position and take over. Not necessarily doing it in the same way that I am doing, but they're equipped to handle the responsibilities of that position.
And Josh, because of that, that is the one crux that I blame that generation. They
Mm.
are unwilling to hand that baton off, to
Mm.
allow the next generation to be able to take it. And that's a good point. It's like we can't even fight because we ain't got the right resources, because y'all won't give it up.
Is that we don't have the right mindset?
Don't
We
have the
still
right
trying to
mindset.
conduct. We still trying to conduct battle with an older mindset when it's a new age. Now, I will
Yep.
give the I will give the other side credit. You see, they're constantly changing out their people. If people don't fall in line, those people get out. They're forced out. I'm not saying that's right, but they seem to be with the time somehow, but yet still have a certain conservatism mindset attached to the brand.
Yep. Yep.
But regardless, they're still with the times.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
like, at what point does the opposing side, not saying that the opposing side is this righteous thing, but I'm not going to sit here and both sides stuff either, because I know one side is completely
Hmm.
against my livelihood, and the other side at times is trying to fight for it. I'm not going to sit here on both sides and do that foolishness.
Hmm.
You
Yep.
can't. You got to speak
Yep.
truth and be able to
Yep.
identify who's friend and from who's foe.
Yep. And so, okay, so when I minister, Josh, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to all but say, you all don't have to fight in the way you used to. You have people that can take on the weight, take on
Hmm.
the baton, to move this thing forward. We're not saying put you out to pasture. We're saying let us lead while you follow us.
Yep.
What's wrong with that? But it seems to be an issue with the older generation allowing us to be able to take on that mantle. Prime
Yep.
example, my dad told me he remembers back in the day. Now, we look at Muhammad Ali as the greatest of all time, and to me, he is. You know, the
Hmm.
image and what was put forth and his bravado, his confidence, his belief. But my dad said that during the time when he was doing all that greater stuff, most of the people who were hating on him were black people.
Same thing for Martin. Martin Luther King faced the
I,
same
I was
issues.
I was flabbergasted, like, oh, huh? Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time? He said, yeah. He said, I remember sitting around my family members and they would say, what he doing? And look at him. And I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Yep. But I mean, you even think about it today where you got, and I mean, I don't know if I have all the understanding, but you look at Jay-Z or Beyonce,
Okay.
and you got the conspiracy for them where they got their money through wicked means or through demonic
Yes.
means,
Yep. Yep.
and they do
Oh, yeah.
witchcraft. And it's like, but if
Oh,
you look
yeah.
at somebody who's palm colored, they got their money through honest means or through their family and through generational wealth and hard work. Why is it wicked when we do it, but it's okay and honorable when they do it? And it's us that promote this foolishness.
It's us.
And they did the same thing to Martin Luther King, where you had church pastors in the black churches who didn't want him going out and protest. No, don't rock the
Huh?
boat, don't shake up the fence. We just need to pray about it and no. Faith without works is dead. There has to be some form of action too, and
You
not
preaching.
just the whole we be calm, cool, collected action.
Nope.
Sometimes you're gonna have to rock the boat and stir it up a little bit.
Yep.
You're gonna have to speak up and speak out.
Yep. Yep.
Like, and I'm speaking to myself
Yep.
too, because at a certain point, you got to stop letting people disrespect you.
Yep.
When somebody's
Yep.
not hearing what you have to say, you're gonna have to speak up and speak differently sometimes. That don't
Yep.
mean you got to cuss people out all the time. That doesn't mean
No.
you have to cuss people out. It does mean you
No.
let your language and your words be a little bit stronger. This is why it's important to read so that you have a diverse vocabulary. So that
And
when you
see,
start speaking differently, they can understand.
that's what's part of what's wrong with the young people too. If they would allow you and I's generation to help with their language, they may go further. But because they don't know how to properly communicate the feelings and emotions and what they need and desire, it just is viewed a certain way.
Sometimes too, I don't think our generation has had the opportunity to even lead. And
No,
so what's
no,
happening
no,
is we're
no.
the generation that's kind of being swept under the rug or swept over and kind
Yep.
of skipped and jumped over and being forgotten.
I
And that's going to be a problem.
and Josh, is our generation.
Yep.
It's not the ones after us, it's not the ones before us, it's ours. Something happened
Hmm.
and we were put up under the rug or in the back burner. Something shifted
It did. And I don't think
and
we've
you
truly seen the damage that will do when you just
nope.
completely forget a group of people.
Yep. I don't know what happened. I feel it in the church. I feel it in society, but I
Yep.
don't know what happened. But
Yep.
something has shifted. Yep.
Yep.
That's the that's the God's honest truth. That's a huge thing for me. And I talked to my dad about it a lot. I said, man, something has shifted. Can't something is not working for us.
No.
Something we're not afforded leadership and batons and they forgot about us.
Yeah. We're like the cash cow that they told to do X, Y, and Z, go to college, and now they put us in debt
Yep.
and they sold it to us. And now they
They
saying just
did.
pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, the bootstraps got holes in them,
Yep.
and I'm working another job just to buy a new pair of boots, just to go to the other job to work. Like at some point, there has to be some system, some help that is afforded to us because of the foolishness that y'all fed to us from the get go.
I have a family member, Josh, who lives away from here in another state,
Hmm.
and they have a master's degree in something in the hospital field. I'm not really sure what it is, but Josh, they are in debt a lot of money,
Yep.
and their job is basically a step up from passing out pills. Somebody got over on somebody somewhere. I was supposed to come out with that degree and be able to do boo and just boo, but
Right.
I'm a step above passing out pills and almost $80,000 in debt. Somebody lied somewhere.
And took
What?
advantage of all these people, all of
Yes.
us,
Yep.
and they knew it.
Yep.
And you can't
Yep.
explain why in a short amount of time span, in over a decade or 2 decades, why the college tuition rates skyrocketed out like they did
Yep.
astronomically. But then you
Yep.
still spoon fed this mindset that hey, you need to go to college to be successful.
Yep.
And
Yep.
y'all just recently started adjusting that mindset and framing. Like even
Yep.
if you look at education, the buzzword right now is HQMI, high quality instructional material. You don't think that there's somebody that's make a fat cat making money off of that all of a sudden and demonizing anything by teacher resources because it's not up to the rigor? Come on now,
Yep.
make it make sense.
Yep.
Magically, you got all these textbook companies who are considered high quality instruction material, and that's what the schools have to use.
Have to use.
But
Hmm.
but the teacher pay teacher resources, you said it's not up to the par, it's not up to the rigor, but it's what the teacher. But and mind you, these are the people that are the professionals that are working with the kids in the classroom, but they don't know how to meet the needs of the kids.
Josh, we have to take this thing called class, conscious discipline, and tools of the mind.
Hmm.
And yet, Josh, in those same meetings, the people who are working directly with the children, like myself, could get up there and teach you far better
Right, because the experience teaches you.
than what you're trying to tell us to do. Because trust me, because guess what? This is what we've done too.
Yep.
And especially for our generation, because you all have the credentials, we listened to you.
Yeah.
But Josh, when we try to implement what you all say will work,
It
it
doesn't
don't
work
work for us.
because one size does not fit all when you work in a certain
Yeah.
demographic with certain
Yep.
demographics.
Yep.
And even without that demographic being an issue, one size
Yes.
just does not fit all.
Yes.
It
Because
just
Josh,
doesn't.
I'm going to use my name for a student's name.
Hmm.
There's a student that actually there's a few of them, but there's if I'm picking out one student, let's call him Quentin. You're not sitting with Quentin every day. I am.
Correct.
I'm sitting with Quentin every day. I'm looking at his facial expressions every day. I
Yep.
see what happens when he comes in at 8:30 versus 9:30. I'm seeing that.
Correct.
I'm learning what brings him down off 10. You're not. I'm sitting with Quentin. But then you don't respect me when I tell you this is what Quentin needs because I don't have the accolades that you do.
And you got to be careful with that because I don't. Because we had a pastor that joined us at not Living Water, at Liberty when I was at LU, and because he didn't have certain attachments, he didn't have his certificate to minister or whatever the degrees, people discredited him, and it's like you got to be careful doing that. You have to, and I'm not saying that any Joe Blow can get up and speak. I'm not saying that. But we need to examine what are the biblical requirements to be a pastor versus what are these educational requirements that we've established.
Josh, I preached this past Sunday, and I know the Spirit is working because it's right along what I preached. Matthew 10, I believe.
Hmm.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Let me see. Matthew 10, mm, mm, give me 1 second, Josh. Okay. No, I'm sorry. First Samuel.
Mm.
First Samuel chapter 16, verses 10 and 11. This is when Samuel goes to Jesse's house to anoint a king. Verse 10 says, again, Jesse, the father,
Mhm.
made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord have not chosen these. Verse 11, and Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, well, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down until he comes here. It's verse 10 says, again, Jesse, which means he had already made him walk before him one time. And he said, well, are you sure you saw the boys right? Boys, walk before him again. Maybe he didn't see something. These are the ones right here. And God had to speak to Samuel to say, ask him about, is all of them here? And he said, well, there is one more, but he's out there in the field. You don't want him. Josh, people are missing it because they're looking for what you said. And you got to be careful with that because you're going to miss God's anointed ones looking for something else. And this is how I brought it home. At the end, where Samuel says, go fetch him, for we will not sit down until he comes here. Sit down, Josh, can be translated into rest.
Mm.
If your church is unrestful, you ain't got that person yet.
Mm.
Because Samuel said, we're not even going to sit down until he come in the house. So if you are unrestful as a congregation, the right one ain't got in yet.
Or
And maybe, or go ahead.
or the right one is there and the right one hasn't removed those people that need to be exiled.
I'm with you.
Because sometimes we
I'm
allow
with you.
foolishness in the vicinity, and the Lord is like, you need to remove them. There's a
I'm with you.
and I'm now not talking about ego. I'm simply talking about
I'm with
they
you.
are out of order biblically and
I'm with you.
spiritually, and they're in these leadership positions, whether it's deacon, deaconess,
All right.
trustee, whatever you want to call them.
Now, let me tell you where we go wrong with that.
Hmm.
Not our generation, but our
Right.
forefathers. Their mindset for that is we're just going to wait those people out. Well, you
You
can't
can't
do
do
that.
that.
You
That's why your church.
cannot do that.
That's why you've had a generation leave because you've allowed
Yes.
it to sit in there. It's like, what
Yes.
is it? Fester, 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 rot, rot, rot. It's like
Yep.
that rot. That's just, it's the rotten meat that's spoiled,
Yep.
or the rotten apple that's spoiled a bunch.
Because you're just going to wait them out.
You can't wait things out sometimes. You see it politically. You can't wait things
You
out.
can't.
You
Nope.
have to remove that cancer. That tumor has to be removed.
Yep.
If not, it
Yep.
will infect the rest of the congregant.
Yep. 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 I've never believed in that. I don't get down with that. Because Josh, why are we still calling the same name 20 years later because they being a disruption?
Um,
No, no way.
I
Sometimes you
mean,
got to be bold and say, no, you got to go.
but too, sometimes my phone about to die. But then sometimes too, that boldness is fearful. It's intimidating. And sometimes what we
It
call
is.
boldness
It is.
or is not of the Lord. Boldness
Yep.
should be of the Lord.
Yep.
It's-
So is
it's-
that you good?
I don't know. Hopefully it don't die on me.
Okay.
Because
Well,
even though it's plugged up to the charger, it still has its moments. I think the battery's being drained faster than it can be charged.
yeah. No, I understand that. So what percent you on?
20?
20?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll just go until. Ain't no big deal for me.
Okay.
Yep. Because I'm just gonna keep the app open and
Okay.
let it do its thing. So yeah, we'll be good. Because I noticed that too. This is a 13 Pro I got, and
Hmm.
yeah, I'm noticing that some little quirks about it. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. especially like in the charging area, and then like it won't open up some apps properly. I'm like, okay, all right, so maybe you try and tell me something, Apple.
That and then the charging port, it happened on my other phone where the charging port, I can't plug it in anymore, so I have to use the
The
metal,
wow, yep,
or you got to
yep,
finagle it some type of way, and I ain't trying to do all that. So,
yep.
I just went and bought the magnetic power, charger, which is great, but I think it charges faster when it's actually able to be plugged up to the cable.
I think so too. Yep, I think so too.
But that's gone out on all my phones that I've had recently, and I'm like,
Yep,
y'all taking
yep,
advantage of me.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I went in the store the other day trying to get a new phone. They trying to upsell me, and they got the right one. I said I ain't going for that. I walked on out the store.
Yeah.
I said I just want to get a new phone. Oh, look at this package and this bundle. I didn't come here for all that.
I just want a new phone. And I done paid this phone off, so I'm trying to let it be and,
I
use it
paid mine off. Yeah,
use it to the because they were getting me. And I'm trying not to let them get me right now because I'm like, you working as much as I need you to work. So we're gonna let that happen.
cause see what happened was too. I cracked my screen, and part of my screen is like
Mm,
where the veins are is black. But
yep.
I'm like, hey, look, hey, nah, I'm gonna try to ride this thing out as long as I can.
I had to learn my lesson the hard way with that because I think I cut myself on it.
Mm,
So I had no choice but to get a new
yeah,
phone. And then
yeah,
I used to have a big phone about the size of a Pop Tart that my dad got me. And everybody's like, "Why is your phone so big?" Because my dad's that's just my dad. But he
yeah,
bought it for me, so I'm grateful. And then I got off Target. I was working at Target that summer, and I got off, and because I just left my phone in the car because it was too big to be carrying. And I
yeah.
come out, and it was summertime, so it's blazing hot. Half the phone is working, the other half done blacked out.
Yeah,
So I ain't having no choice. But that was where I had to hit rock bottom, quote unquote, because
yeah.
that forced me to get a new phone, and and it allowed me to show myself that I actually could afford doing things on my own. So I got my own contract off my parents' plans, and I bought my own phone, paid for it, and it was for my good ultimately.
And see, check that. So, and but good came out of that,
It did.
right?
It did.
And it takes that sometime to be prepared, and what you said too, to show yourself some love, to show yourself you can do it.
Yep.
That's huge. That's big.
Like when I
You
had to get
know.
my car last year after my baby, my 2011 Jeep Compass, the transmission gave out on me, and they said $5,000, and I said, "Well, guess that ain't happening." But it was funny because months in advance, the Lord had laid it on my heart to where I was like getting kind of envious of, or I was starting to desire a new vehicle, but I was like, "Lord, I can't do it. I just can't do it." Well, He worked some things out, and I was able. Now I'm by the grace of the Lord, I'm still making these months. Now I ain't want no car payment now. Don't
Yep.
get me wrong,
Yep.
but by the grace of the Lord, I'm making payments. I have a vehicle. The check engine light came on randomly after one of those snowstorms, and so I got to go to the dealership. And because it was covered under gap, so I didn't have to pay for anything. And they just had to reset some things, and we were good. And so that's been a blessing. Like my new car has, I can change the traction and I can drive in the snow, which was helpful a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
At the
Yep.
start of the month.
Yep.
And I have a second job, so I had to go to work in the evening times when the temperature had dropped. But so there's a reason. Everything happens for a reason. We may not always understand it in that particular moment.
Yep.
And sometimes it's gonna take years upon years before we see what the Lord did. Like Don Lemon, he was talking about the other day how he may have gotten let go from his job at CNN, but now he see
Mm-hmm.
what's happening with CNN. He's like, praise God. He said, I didn't understand it was for my good, but
Right. Right.
you thinking it's the end of the world. He's like, the Lord is like, no, I'm actually sparing you. I'm actually saving you. I'm
Yes.
preparing you for something else. Like Joseph, he was in a pit,
He was in a
but the
pit.
Lord he put him there to preserve the seed of Jesus.
Yep.
But the seed of Jesus didn't
Yep.
come through Joseph, but
Right.
he used them still, nevertheless.
Nevertheless. And what I said last week was sometimes, Josh, when we get rejected, it
Hmm.
feels bad because we feel like we've been rejected. But God is saying, I'm their rejection is my redirection.
Hmm. It's intended
Don't
and it's
worry.
for him.
That's right. I'm redirecting you. You think you losing stuff. No,
Hmm.
I can see down the matter of fact, I can do more. God is so much God. He can do one better than see down the road.
Hmm.
God is so much God, Josh. He's here and down the road at the
Yep.
same time.
Yep.
See, an eagle can see a long way, but God is so much God. I'm in today. I'm also sitting in tomorrow, and I'm doing your life like this, and with some rough spots with you because you don't want to acquiesce, but it's for your good.
Yep. So, and if I allow them to say yes here, it's not going to let you get to the destination that I had intended for you for the whole long.
Bingo, bingo.
But in that
Yes,
moment, it's still hard.
yeah.
He says, even in your disappointment, I'm still going to use that disappointment.
And that's what I that and see. So then I asked God, but can I get some consolation, or does it all
Uh,
have to be struggle? Right? Because if we're looking at Job, that was only really like a 6 week portion of his life.
mhm.
Like, God, I'm not trying to rush you, but the 6 weeks been gone.
Yep. And you just want
Now,
some glimmer of hope. Yeah.
yes, yes,
And I feel you on that. And
yeah,
that's hard. And that's where, like we said earlier, that's where it comes into where
yeah, yeah,
it's the people that he has put around you that are supposed to come alongside you to remind you of who God still is. Like that's why we through the grieving process when we lose loved ones, it's the people that we are supposed to be surrounded by. It's that cloud of witnesses that we are supposed to have. And this is why no man is an island, and we can't do this life alone. No matter how much of an OG we think we are, or how much of whatever we think we are, or how much like you cannot be a lone wolf in this life.
So then what happens is, Josh, we don't have enough people around us that we can be ourselves around because the
Mm,
issue is I have people around me, but because of how they view you, you don't
hmm.
get to shed that.
Be vulnerable.
You don't get to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where I think your village has to find you because those people you can be vulnerable around.
Mm,
And God will place those people in and around your life. That number of people for me is very small. And where I can actually let my hair down, I would say 3 people,
mhm,
including yourself,
mhm.
that I can just like say, okay, this is cute. Uh, 3 people because it's that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, even if my friends at work, I don't give you the real me,
No, you can't eat that all the
right?
time. Now, now with my people, with my core, I guess my core other people, my other core people,
Yeah,
we just do life like that constantly. Like, now I'll be honest, they had to earn that.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
When I say I was standoffish with certain people,
Yeah,
they remind me. I get reminded every time we hang out now. But I think building that trust is also important. Building a foundation to
yeah,
any relationship, whether it's for friendship and you want to develop that friendship to a romantic relationship, having that friendship is foundational. Because
yeah.
what's going to keep you coming back when you got to start waking up to that person because you done said I do to that person, you got to start waking up to it in a major mad.
Correct.
And things don't, tight are as tight as they used to be.
Right.
Like there
But
has to be a
that's
foundation.
going to happen. That's going to happen.
Mhm.
That foundational stuff of change and up some years, down some years, that's going to happen.
Correct. And even with friendships, whether it's my brothers or my sisters, and I've made everybody mad at some point. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's them, and then sometimes shoot, it's just me and my own foolishness, my own mindset. And sometimes I like one person that I'm developing a friendship with now, like I agitate and aggravate them on purpose just because it's fun.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel
But
you.
like that's a blessing to have people in your life you can do those things with too at the same time.
It is.
And
And
you don't
shoot, so
realize how important it is until they're gone.
you're right. You're right. And I'm introverted too. Fooling with
Same.
me, I'll look right at that phone and put it right back down.
And here's
Not
the reason I
today.
said people can't evaluate who Joshua Adams is today based off of
Yeah.
simply what you see. Because I
No.
also am aware of I was really quiet, kept to myself wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yep.
The fact that I even moved to a different city, yet alone a different state,
Yeah.
is a big deal. Like
Yep.
if you knew who I was back in high school and I was the person the teacher told, maybe you shouldn't have did this certain speaking role in the debate because you need something a little bit more scripted.
Right.
Fast forward, she didn't know what the Lord was doing. You don't
Right.
get you don't get better at something by putting yourself in a box and playing a safe
No.
place. You got to
No.
stretch yourself. You got to put yourselves
Yep.
in those uncomfortable position situations. Why?
Yep.
Because then when the Lord has chosen to allow you to move up and be exalted, it's not because of your ability, but because it's his ability. And it's him moving
Bingo.
through you. So that
You
way
know what?
he gets the glory, not you.
He gets the glory. You know what I told him last week too, Josh? I said, and this is true, Josh, I cut my preaching teeth on people looking at me like I was crazy. So you can't bother me now. Whatever glory comes, I know it come from God because they've been
Right.
looking at me like I with the salty face because of what
Yep.
I say. But you're right. So you're right. He wants it to be to where when that does happen, when
Hmm.
that church finally does come, or that role that I have for you finally does come, or that wife finally does come, you know that it
It's
didn't come
nobody but
from
me.
anybody.
Correct. Correct.
If I become a pastor, if I become some type of podcast guru, or if I get married, Quentin gonna know that only came from God because I
Right.
tried all I could try.
And I didn't allow doors to open on purpose.
I got you right,
He kept some
right,
closed. He said,
right,
like we said, it might have not been understood, but it was for your own protection. And sometimes
correct.
I'm protecting you even from your own self and your own ego.
From yours, because Lord have mercy. Right, yeah,
And sometimes it's not because you view yourself in such a high standard, but sometimes you view yourself too lowly. And I need to remind you that, hey, there's a worth to you still.
I just had a flashback. You wouldn't have chose that thing that was so low on the ground 15 years ago if you knew where you really were.
Correct.
But because of how you viewed yourself, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to let that thing leave you because you'd have thought that's where you was at. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Correct.
no.
Correct.
You're not down there. You chose
Correct.
down there because you thought you was down there. No, no,
Yep.
no.
Indeed.
Yeah, I had a flashback.
Mm.
And when I look back now, Josh, I say, what in the world was I thinking? Man, God,
Everything happens for a reason.
thank God that didn't work. I can look
Right.
back now. Thank God.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. And he allows some things that for beyond our understanding.
Yep. Yep.
Because I said, goodness. Because like I look and like you're saying now, with the lady telling me that I should have done a more scripted role. And I'm looking like, Lord, sometimes I have to think about how much he has done in my own life and be like, wow, that is nobody but God. Like I've been put in positions to where I get to publicly speak in front of people, whether it was at Liberty in our my last year where I had got to speak and give an award, or even be given another award and speak in front of an audience and had to dress up and wear a suit, or just even preaching now and teaching, or even leading professional development at work. Like all of these countless opportunities where, and Lord knows I still stutter and I still struggle and fumble on my words. And sometimes I can't even articulate a good thought without messing it
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the fact that I have been put in these positions and be given these opportunities to where in high school it looked like I wouldn't be able to do it.
So let me ask you this. Back in the
Mhm.
day when she told you that, what did you think?
I thought she was right.
Yeah.
I was honestly, I was offended. I was like, dang,
Yeah.
wow. And she
Yeah.
said, and she was doing that thinking she was being helpful.
Right.
And it was like, ultimately, you didn't realize that there was a seed that was growing. There was something that
Right.
you should probably invest in more. Like I had another teacher in high school who told me, and she was 100% right. And I appreciate this one. I can't remember her name, but I see her face. She reached out to me in one of our assignments. She was like, "I need you to come talk to me because your grammar isn't that great, and you have the ability to do a lot more. And I wanted to make sure you truly achieve your full potential." The way she did that, and granted, that was written and not verbally like the other lady. And that was my 10th grade year of high school. When she did that, I said, wow, this is somebody that's here. Now, did I ever go to her? No, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'll be honest. Because
Right.
I was still timid. I still was afraid of going and asking for help.
Hmm.
But the way she did it was encouraging because it was like, okay, she sees something in me that I may not always see in myself. And sometimes I still struggle seeing that in myself. But that was somebody that saw something in me that was going to develop. This other person was
Right.
somebody who didn't necessarily see into the future, understand that, oh, okay, this is somebody, they intentionally
Yep.
put themselves in this position to
Yep.
challenge themselves. How can I invest
Yep.
more? How can I continue to encourage that person to further develop
Yep.
that skill?
Yep.
And maybe that's not how she intended it to come across, but it came across that way.
I also feel that that ball was dropped sometimes in our homes too,
Mm,
because y'all didn't see it. You didn't see none of who I am now.
mm,
None.
mm,
I find that hard to believe. That's why when I look at David, I view it from a different perspective. I don't
mm,
think it's because people don't know Josh. I think it's because they know.
mm.
Because if you're so sure that David's not going to be picked, if you're so sure, just bring him in the house.
That way he can be denied and y'all can move on and be done with it.
And now it removes you
Yep.
from all culpability because you say, "Hey, I brought you in the house."
Yeah. I gave you the
And he,
opportunity.
if you're so sure, I
Yeah.
think it's because they know. I did a little skit in the church I preached at a couple weeks ago. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We all know that.
Mm, mm,
Had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. The first part of the song tells you about this reindeer named Rudolph. He had a shiny nose. The next part of the song, Josh, says all of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never
mm,
let him join in the reindeer games. Then look at where God comes in. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, sometimes God has to set up situations for revelations so that the very people who wouldn't pick you have no choice
mm,
but to pick you. But anyway, then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? The next part of the song, Josh goes, oh, how the reindeer loved him. Wait a minute. The
mm,
same reindeer who wouldn't involve me. So I think it's because they know. Because you saw him with his bright nose.
mm,
You heard Santa ask for him specifically by name, like
mm,
Samuel said. God hadn't chosen these. And check it later on in the verse, when David walked in, Samuel didn't ask, hey, Jesse, is this one okay? He didn't say that. When David finally got in the house, Josh, Samuel said, that is he, anoint him. That's him right there. I think it's because people know. So going back to what I said, you didn't see that.
mm,
God didn't show you anything of who I was today. I had to find all that and do all that on my own.
mm,
You saw none of that gift in me because I was a quiet guy. And if I was so gifted and y'all was so churchy, you didn't see that.
mm.
Maybe I could have been. I'm not blaming nobody, and
Right.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop after this. Maybe I could have been further along if you'd have came to me and said, "You got a bright nose, son. Go on, fly that sleigh." You didn't tell me that, and you treated me like an old loyal hound dog out in the field working, and my Samuel hadn't shown up yet. Is what I'm kind of saying,
Mm,
and it's like I'm feel like I'm stuck, Josh, writing poetry to God and doing these songs in the studio that ain't nobody hearing but him because I
mhm,
can't put it out. I can't figure out. So all the music I'm doing is stand on the computer and I'm writing these sermons that people don't seem to like and I'm agonizing to God and he ain't sent that Samuel yet to say oh, him.
mhm,
And I'm trying not to have resentment for the people that raised me, but sometimes I feel like they should have said something
mm, mm, mm.
or at least put me up to be turned down and not just keep me out in the field.
Yeah.
But that's just my feeling.
I think sometimes those same people didn't know how to have a dream and how to dream beyond their own circumstances. So therefore they couldn't pour into you something that they didn't have themselves. They couldn't show the doors open elsewhere. when they only knew
I
one hallway too.
and because you know what happened? Because if that's true, when I tried to follow your footsteps, I failed,
Hmm.
which then gave you the right to look at me like, how did you fail?
You're less
We
than them.
we succeeded doing this. How did you not?
But
And
see, I think
then
we got a major problem too in many communities, and in just I guess the human condition where we esteem value to people based off of what they can do rather than just giving people the value that they deserve as a human being.
okay,
So you think I'm more of let's think about dating. You think I'm more of an acceptable candidate because I'm growing and I have certain goals rather than simply seeing me where I'm at in this current season and deeming me worthy enough because you see the qualities of me being able to love you affectionately, being able to be there for you when I need to be, me being able to even be willing to be vulnerable with you as a man
yeah,
and willing to
Josh,
allow you into my space.
yes,
That
you know
should
what you
make me
just
worthy
reminded
enough.
enough. I had a flashback a couple years ago.
Hmm.
Check this to your exact point. I know God is working because you're saying stuff and it's like giving me flashbacks. My dad had to officiate over a wedding.
Hmm.
Now, my dad, he's a sharp dresser too. It wasn't at a church, so we was able to wear suits and stuff and not robes.
Hmm.
So he had his he was sharp too, Josh. I mean, he was bad. I mean, he sharp too. But Josh, I can hold my own too.
Hmm.
So I had to film the wedding. He had to preach the wedding. Now, my dad is married. Okay. I'm
Right.
clearly single. Anyway, so after the wedding, we sitting at the reception or whatever. I'm sitting there. I'm looking over my editing and checking the camera and all that, just sitting there. There was a young lady who now I know at the time walked past me
Hmm.
to go to him. My stepmom is sitting there and my dad is sitting there. She pretty much compliments him and his dress in front of and to my stepmom. Now I'm like, man, my dad was telling me this. I'm saying, Dad, why would she walk if she needed to compliment somebody?
She had the opportunity to.
Why
That
did
was
she walk
available.
past me to go take a risk to compliment you in front of your wife?
Mm,
What did she miss? I was sharp that day too, Josh. I was
mhm,
bad too. I'm sitting there with no woman beside me. You could have sat down and we could have talked about anything you want to talk about.
mhm,
You could have sat down, we could have got something to eat. You could have told me how handsome I was, how sharply I was dressed. You walked right past me to not tell me that, but to tell a married man that.
mm.
What? But that's to your point. Because both of us are looking sharp. Both of us are ministers. Really, the only difference is outside of the age, of course, but the only difference is he's married, I'm not.
Mhm,
He's a pastor, I'm not. So it's something you see in him that you looking right on past me,
mm.
but I feel you.
We got a problem.
That's that's the reality.
And
That
we see it even beyond dating too, though, like the worth we esteem to people and that dictates their value of their life
you just said it. Yeah, you just said it. Yeah. Yep.
because they're an immigrant, because they're not born here in the United States.
Yep.
We automatically, in some cases, wickedly, of course, we demonize them and say they deserve to be hunted and treated like they're less than.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
because their behavioral problem in the classroom, they don't deserve to be at our school. Or because their behavioral problem in society, they deserve to
Mm-hmm.
simply have a punitive consequence in prison, nothing that's
Mm-hmm.
restorative to restore them so that they can
Nope.
be a citizen once they're out and free.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Now, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be consequences for our actions. I'm not
Correct.
saying that. But we can't esteem worth to people just because of the mistakes that they make or
Yep.
because they
Or
do
the
some
or the
great
lack of
things that they do
achievements.
or the many achievements that they have. People should have
Or the
value to
minute
you
chief. Yes.
simply because they are a person and they're made in the image of God and they deserve
Yep.
that. Because the Lord detests when we give these high. If we want to give a pew to President Obama on the first row, but Miss Sister Lou who is 77 and faithfully ties to the church, she got to be put on the back row when he comes to visit.
Or if it's a church member that we deem to be not so bright or don't fit in the space to be on the front pew. Yeah, oh, I've
Or
seen
they
that
don't
too.
or
Yeah.
they don't tithe enough, in your opinion.
Yeah. They don't
But they're
sit on the
faithfully
front pew.
there. They faithfully there. They faithfully serve.
They faithfully serve.
But
Lord have
because of
mercy.
the worth you esteem to them,
Hmm.
we got to do better. We just truly,
Yep.
genuinely have to be better about how we're treating people. This world does not have to be this way. It genuinely does not
No.
have to be this way.
Nope.
There are things that's going on, and I'm talking about strictly in America, of course, right
Yep.
now. And I know it goes beyond, but I'm talking about the place that I know well enough. There are things going on that do not have to go on. We can be better. We've been better
Josh,
sometimes.
murderers, human trafficking,
Hmm.
these things, deportation, it don't have to be this way.
No, it doesn't. It does not. The fact that we had, ugh, I'm sorry, but the fact that we have a whole case file about how people treated and abuse young girls, young boys,
Hmm.
and nobody's and people in high
Yep.
positions
Yep.
who possibly have some affiliation with it, but
Yep.
aren't getting examined or looked at because of the certain titles that they may have.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
why is this a controversial thing?
Yep. It seems to be.
Regardless of what side you fall on, if your name is in
Hmm.
that file, and obviously within reason, because just because you're in a picture with somebody does not make you automatically guilty. But
Yep.
let's examine
Right.
things. You shouldn't have any
Yep.
issue coming to speak and clear your name and just being done with it.
Yep. Just
Why
being
are you,
done with it.
why are you
Yep.
moving as though you got something to hide? One of the deacons at my church, my old church, growing up from home, his
Mhm.
expression was keep your hands on the table.
Okay. Okay.
Because when they stay under the table, that
Okay.
means you got something that you trying to keep you doing something sneakily.
Okay.
Keep them on the table.
Okay.
Same instance. Make yourself available. Present you
Yeah.
open up the suit. Show us who you
Yeah.
are.
Right.
So that your name can be
Right.
truly cleared and so that there aren't any questions.
But see, people don't like to be exposed.
No, they don't.
They don't like to have their stuff opened up.
They don't. We don't. We don't. And I say we because we people. So
Yeah. Look at Adam and Eve. He said, because I was naked. That's just exposure.
yeah.
Nakedness is just exposure. We don't like to be exposed.
And then the funny part that Vody Bachman, God rest his soul, said, "Who told you all you were naked?" So
Who told you that?
that's how you told on yourself right there.
Yeah, right there. You shouldn't have a wrestle for that. You shouldn't even have a wrestle for that word.
Correct. You shouldn't feel any shame.
No.
But
Well,
there was something that was
well,
done wrong for you to feel shame.
yeah, yep. It goes beyond your not wearing of clothes. That's just a metaphor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Every bit.
They
But
don't.
for
People don't
whatever
like to
reason,
be exposed.
we don't. We don't. I know
Yep.
there was a book I was reading about, I think they use it for FBI or whatever, or CIA. And one of the giveaways, because I was talking to one of my kids when I first started teaching, and something, and I read something in the book, and I knew he wasn't telling me the truth because if you're self, one way to tell if a person is being deceptive if they tried to hide the palm of their hands
Wow.
because our hands are revealing, or if they try to cover up
Wow.
like this. That when we try to cover up our chest because we're trying to essentially cover up our heart. That's the way you can tell somebody is not being honest with you.
Wow.
And see, when I
Okay.
was a
Okay.
kid, as a
Okay.
child, when I wasn't being honest with my parents, when I no, I forgot how I do it. I would always, when I was being honest, I would always ask the follow up question. So why are you asking?
I got you. I got you.
But when I was lying, I wouldn't ask that question.
Right. Yeah. Because see, when you're honest, I'm ready for whatever you got. Like, yeah. Did you
Yeah,
do
I
your
just want to
homework?
know that. Now I'm just
Why are
trying to
you
be
asking?
nosy.
Why are you asking? Well, show it to me. All right, I can go get it. I'm gonna go get it. Here it is. Right. Yeah. Right.
And I don't know if my parents ever caught on to that, but I caught on to myself and I said, ooh, huh. I don't know if anybody ever caught on, but I knew.
I did.
I
Right.
knew
There you
me at
go.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I started switching up a little bit, asking the question, and
Mm.
I thank the Lord for grace and growth and growth, growth
And growth.
and forgiveness.
Yeah. And forget thanking for all the things.
Because Lord knows.
That's crazy. Right. Now, my son
Mm-hmm.
scraped his knee one time, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing. He wanted to play outside with his sister. I said, okay, but it just finished raining, so don't play up on that rock. We got like a big family rock that's like been in the front yard for generations. I
Right.
said, don't play on the rock because it's slippery. You might slip and fall. Well, I come back in the house. I'm cleaning up, doing my thing, and lo and behold, I look out the window. What is he doing? Up
Playing on the
on
rock.
the rock that I told him not to get up on. So I'm still doing my thing. So guess what? He slips and scrapes his because he was up on the rock making fun of his sister. He
Mm-hmm.
slips and he scrapes his knee. So he run in the house, right? He had jeans on. He run in the house. He said, Dad, I hurt myself. Now I'm playing dumb, you know. I'm like, what's going on? What happened? What happened? I hurt myself. Okay, well, show me where you. Did he holding his stomach, you know? I said, you hit your stomach? He said, no, it's further down. So now I'm saying, I'm still playing along. Did
Mm-hmm.
you hit your private parts? No, it's still a little down. I hit my knee. I said, okay, well, what's going on? So then he finally pulled his pants up and he showed me the scrape on his knee and it was bleeding. I said, man, what happened? He said, well, I didn't want to tell you that I was up on the rock playing and I
Mm-hmm.
slipped and fell and scraped my knee. And I said, son, first of all, if you can't tell anybody else the truth, you have to tell your father the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even let him know that I had saw. I'm trying to have a teachable moment. I said, son, if you can't tell nobody the truth, tell your father the truth. He said, but I was scared to get in trouble. And then when I hurt myself, I was scared to tell you because I didn't want it to hurt when you fix it. Because sometimes, Josh, when
Mm-hmm.
God fixes some stuff, sometimes it hurts to fix it.
It does. That's spray
So
Band-Aid.
as I'm talking to him, I'm actually working on his knee.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, when I had finished, that's when he told me he was afraid it was going to hurt when I fixed it. I said, look down at your knee. When he looked down at his knee, it was already fixed. God does us the same way. That thing we think that's going to hurt, God is so much God, he can be talking to you and working it out and fixing it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he going to tell you, look around. And that thing that you thought that if you let that go, it was going to hurt, it ain't going to hurt no more.
Mm-hmm.
And before I knew it, I had fixed his wound and he didn't realize I fixed it. He was so scared that the fixing was going to hurt that he was afraid to show me. Then he was ashamed that he went against my word and he's ashamed on multiple fronts. Emotionally shamed, he's physically hurt, he's embarrassed, and he don't want to tell his father because of fear of exposure. God is so much God that Josh, he already know.
True.
I already knew what happened. It wasn't my position to then say, didn't I tell you not to get up? Because that's how they done us back in the day. Didn't I tell you not to get up on that? I didn't do that. I fixed it while I fixed multiple things at the same time, the way God would.
Mm-hmm.
He's so much God to us that that very thing that we think that we cannot expose to him, he's saying, that's what I want.
Yep.
I want to fix the very thing you don't tell nobody about, Quentin. I need you to, because here's my thing that when I tell the churches that here's the crux of it, Josh. I can't fix it if you don't show it to me. Son,
Mm.
Junior, if you don't show it to me, I can't fix it. In order for you to show it to me, you got to expose yourself. You can't expose yourself to everybody, but
No,
God is saying to me, you can.
I like that part.
And
You said you can't expose yourself to everybody though.
you can't. But what happened is the reason we have so much to God is because of how people have indoctrinated us. We've now put God down in this category,
Mm.
and He's not. He doesn't do us like that. He's saying, I want the very thing that you don't tell nobody. I want to fix that, but I can't fix it if you don't show it to me.
Mm.
I know it's there. Now I'm God, I'm gonna work it out anyway. But for your good, I need you to show it to me. You need to trust me with that thing you don't tell nobody. And God had to teach me that because I'm dealing with some stuff, but He taught me that through my own son,
But you see,
Quentin.
I think it echoes too what you just said is that mindset of just shame being spread up historically too within our own community to where we struggle with something and it's viewed as this whole wicked, wretched thing. So what do? We don't talk
Yes.
about it or we
Right.
don't go seek help for it.
Right.
And we wonder why we got
Right.
a just a endless I don't even know the word right now, but we wonder why there's a huge just
Let's
vacuum
let's let's let's
needed.
use epidemic for the lack of a better
There we
word.
go. There we go. That's the word I needed.
Okay.
We wonder
Okay.
why there's epidemic and mental health crisis in the black community,
Yep.
whether from women or and men,
Yep.
especially men. Why we
Especially
don't
men.
go get the help that we need, and
Yep.
we even demonize the whole getting help for mental illnesses.
Yep. R. Kelly.
Yep.
Now, I love his music, but just to give you some reference,
Hmm.
he was molested at 7 years old.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At 7 years old, he was molested by an older cousin who used to watch him. He said he didn't even tell or talk about it until he was almost 30 years old. But to your point, and look at what he said. Because now, if a woman say this, we go with it. But look at what he said. I was so scared to tell somebody because A, I didn't think they would believe me, and B, I didn't want to get into trouble. Because exposing the truth would have meant I would have had to say that cousin so and so did this to me.
But now look how
But
much
like you
damage
said,
has been done, not
right,
only to him, but now he's perpetrated to potentially others because he didn't get his own healing. So he just kept the cycle going.
bingo. Our black community. Yep,
So much that we need healing for.
yep,
And I'm not talking about just the black community. I'm talking about the black church that
yep,
demonizes getting mental health
yep,
because for some
yep,
reason they forgot that the word says the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. It is the
yep,
Lord who puts people in positions, whether it's
yep,
a pastor, a teacher, or even
yep,
a mental health counselor.
yep. Same. Yeah,
We seem to forget that.
yep,
And I'm talking to
same.
myself too.
But Josh, look at Jesus and the woman by the well. He was more of a mental health, a counselor,
Yeah.
psychologist. He wasn't preaching.
Yeah. Go and sin no
He
more.
was just he
Stop.
was just talking to her.
Yep.
He was just having a conversation with her and changed her life.
Yep.
And Josh, look at it though. The only reason she was there in the heat of the day is to avoid the other ladies in the morning who was talking about her because they knew who she was.
Mm.
And the women would come to the well in the early morning before the sun got up. She was avoiding them, and she came in the heat of the day. That's when Jesus was there,
Mm.
and she wasn't expecting to see nobody because it was the heat of the day, and that's where he's sitting. And then on top of that, here's a man talking to me. Who was this guy?
I found out he's the son of God. Literally the God.
Yeah,
The son of the God
yeah,
in the
the
Godhead.
son of. He's saying, no, the one you got now ain't yours.
Mm,
You done had 5 of them, and the one you got now ain't even yours.
mm,
But
mm,
I tell you what though, I tell you what. Look, go, sin no more. And I think she kind of referenced, can I tell people who he go? And he said, yeah, go tell them. And she went down there and started preaching,
mm, mm.
telling them about a man
From
who
Galilee.
took who told her all about herself. Yeah,
But he didn't
he
have to
told
go on
me
this
all.
long soliloquy.
Nope,
He just gave us a
nope.
simple word of encouragement.
Yep,
Simple.
yep. And I think the word of encouragement is you are better than this.
Mm,
You don't have to subject yourself to this. I know what you've been going through. You're better than this. You're bigger than this. And Josh, sometimes all we need is that word of encouragement. And don't you
yep,
know, when I talked to my son, while I was expecting him to cry, he put a smile on his face. Why? Because hey, we good.
yep,
We no, I still love you. Ain't gonna change.
yep.
But just trust me.
Because
That's where it stemmed.
you offered grace in the place of
Okay.
his mistake.
I
Sometimes what we got was shame when we made a
yeah,
mistake. So therefore,
so poof, that's
we're
crazy.
more likely to hide it when the next situation or circumstance that comes. So now we wonder
Because
why
Josh,
families don't communicate like they used to.
bingo, bingo. Because look at what I tell the church too, Josh. I said, church, now you know a scrape on the knee, Josh, is a small thing.
Hmm.
And if he can't trust me for that, well,
Hmm.
20 years from now, when it's something real serious, he ain't gonna
Correct.
trust me for that.
Correct.
But in our generation, we were made ashamed of the scraped knee.
Hmm.
So then when something really bothered us and happened,
We don't have anybody to
nope,
talk to about it. We're
nope,
told to be hush hush
nope.
about it.
I can't even tell you about the scrape. It ain't no way in the world I'm gonna tell you about this. No way.
And that's
You made
sad
me
too.
feel like, yes,
It's sad
yes,
because how sad is it to have a need and not know how to have it met?
yep,
Or to feel like your
yep.
story should not be told. And the Lord is like, no, I need your story told because there's deliverance for somebody else in that story.
And look at what I tell the Lord then. But they don't want to hear me. That's a lie from the devil.
Yeah.
But
It
because of how
is.
we've been conditioned, even when God tell us that, we don't believe it.
Yeah. Because I
And he's saying,
sometimes,
no,
and I don't know where I'm going to go with this point, but sometimes I wonder how many of us have been deemed shy, quote unquote. And there's a gift of leadership that's inside of us, but some reason it hasn't been able to allow, given its time to shine. So therefore, a lot of changes that could have happened in our society hasn't happened.
more than we know,
And then
more than we
because
know.
and we're deemed shy
Yep,
because we got a rebuke or a correction, so we just started closing
yep,
our mouths and not speaking up, saying anything at all.
yep, yep, more than we know. When I look at the way some of our students now, the education system is not perfect,
Right.
but sometimes I feel left out because when I look at the services that they get now, what if some of me and my friends could have got some of those services,
Mhm.
Josh? Because if you can call it what you call it now, I know some of me and my friends had something,
Yes,
but
indeed.
but but they swept all that stuff and they didn't label it, and it just he's shy, he's whatever, bad or honorary, any other adjective than what it was, and it messed us up
You know what's funny? When I saw the movie Scream today, Scream 7, a big theme in that movie was always not always protecting the younger generation because now we're not allowing the growth that needs to happen too. And I think that's sometimes part of the problem with some of this generation that we're facing now and trying to raise up. And sometimes we're trying to protect them way too much and not allow some of those consequences that taught and molded and developed us. We're so willing to, and I say that about myself too, where you're so willing to want to do the work for them, or you want to just protect them so much that the frustration that we had and that we received from failing or getting a bad grade, or the frustration we had to go through when it came to doing basic mathematics, There was a blessing through the pressing. Like all of that was designed to strengthen it and make us better. But now we want to sit here and pacify everything. Or
Well, well, all right, look at it now. We're in education,
hmm
and I'm also a father. What I think is happening is, Josh, because of our past,
hmm
we try to remove ourselves so much from it
we shouldn't.
as to not be viewed as it.
hmm
Now, the result of that is what you're saying. And we're like learning on the fly that some stuff is not right that we're doing. But I think it's stemming from what we're talking about. You're trying to remove yourself so much from that
And you can't do
that
that.
now you can't do that. Right.
You shouldn't do that.
It
All
it's
happened for
now,
our good too.
yeah. Now what we're doing, that part of it is hindering them.
hmm it was like
And now that
the pendulum, how the church has swung and the pendulum. We were all about truth, but then we forgot about love. And then some
yeah,
churches have gone all about love, and now they've forgotten about the biblical truth. And it's like
yes.
they go hand in hand for a reason. You don't have to be
Yes.
absent of one so that the other can thrive. They can both
Yes.
be present on the stage, and the light not dim from either one.
All right. I have some students in my class, Josh, that cannot open a plastic fork wrapper
hmm
because that's being done for them.
Right.
And now when they try to open something, it's like they don't even know how to. The dexterity is not even there. It's
Yeah.
just they just because you're not, because of what we're saying. Everything. Let me open it. Come here and let me do. Come here. Let me take this here. Let me do this for you. And everything is like that now. Because I guess, like we said, we're trying to be so far removed from that. Now we don't even realize you're opening a plastic wrapper for your child, and he can't even open it for himself.
And I just thought about something. I'm guilty of it. Some of it. Sometimes it's not even me not wanting them to struggle, but me trying to be in control of time and not being patient.
Okay.
And so that could look like, so for example, that could look like when I'm giving math in math class, instead of allowing them to struggle through understanding and remember their multiplication facts, you give them a multiplication chart. So now they can just quickly look them up. So their brain never
I
got
got
the
you.
exercise needed and necessary to be forced to recall the information and the facts. Or in that case, even something like you said, opening up the plastic fork. Well, we don't have time for them to be trying to sit there and spend 5 minutes to open a wrapper up. We can just simply cut it. But now you're not giving them
Because
that time to
right.
practice that's needed and
Because
necessary.
yes. Because the end result is I need you to use this fork.
Correct.
So here, use the fork. But in me doing that, so we can get to the end result of using the fork, we missing the vital step that you're not even practicing opening it for yourself.
And I want to say, and maybe I can be wrong, but I want to say the older generation was good at that, allowing a productive struggle to occur, so that because they knew we ain't gonna be here all the ways, and we ain't got
Yeah.
time to sit here and try to do it every single time for you. But
Right.
I don't want you embarrassing me when I send you out to that schoolhouse and you acting like you don't know how to do what you're supposed to do. So
Right.
you're gonna know how to do a
Okay.
few of these things.
Correct. Right.
And I think that's kind of
Right.
also been lost too. And you see it at the age group that you work with in particular, where you have kids coming in that don't know how to tie shoes, that don't know
Nope.
how to use a restroom in some cases,
Nope.
that don't even know
Nope.
how to simply put on a coat, that don't know
Yep.
how to
Nope.
even
Josh, they cannot put their coats on.
Mhm.
Can't. See?
And that's a
To
simple
our
skill
point.
that can be taught at home.
Yes. Right. But like you said, we're trying to get to the end result, which
Mhm.
is to either get you on the bus or get you in the car so we can leave.
But that productive struggle is also vital to that.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And I don't think we realize that.
Like I was telling, this has probably nothing to do with this, but I was telling a buddy of mine in recent weeks, as we've gotten to know each other, he likes to travel. So I told him, my friends and I, we went to Colorado 2020 and we drove out from Colorado. So I went up to Harrisonburg and we left Harrisonburg late in the middle of the night, drove all the way out to Colorado, which was a 25 hour drive, mind you.
What?
And we just drove it straight. We had three of us. It was myself, my buddy, and my buddy's brother, who is now my buddy too. And we rotated. And my buddy's brother was the one that could do the late. He worked late nights, so he was now the one doing the late night shift. You know, it's funny how God prepares people too for positions,
Yeah.
certain roles too. But he was the one that could take that late night driving. So both while we both slept, he could drive the night. And then when it was morning time, we would swap out, and my buddy and I we would take the
Okay.
morning shifts. Well, I was trying to tell my friend, like he says he doesn't have the patience. He just wants to get on the plane. I'm like, sometimes the journey is the
Yeah.
blessing too.
Yes.
That was one of the best car rides I've ever had in my entire life. It was the longest car ride I've ever had, but it was
Right.
also the best car ride I've ever had.
Right. Have you seen the movie on Netflix, The Two Popes, Josh?
The two popes?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Watch that. It's what's my man's name? What's that played Hannibal back in the day?
Goodness, because this I know the face.
Yeah. Yep. He's one of the popes, and then another guy's a pope. Now, he is very stern and stringent, like in God's view.
Hmm.
And the other guy is like, because so the Hannibal guy's character is very straight and strict to the point with God. God is
Hmm.
this, God is this, God is this. Whereas the other guy is saying, let's find God on the journey. Like you
Yeah,
said, maybe it's not the end result of heaven. Maybe God is just walking down to the garden. You know what I'm
Anthony
saying?
Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is his
Anthony
name.
Hopkins. Yes, Anthony Hopkins is one, and the other guy is other. And the other guy is saying, maybe God is on the journey. Maybe God is not in the flight to get there in 2 hours. Maybe he's on the drive for 24 hours to get
Correct.
there. Let's
But
find God. God can be on a journey. He can
correct.
be, and the woman in the well, she just going about her day and running to Jesus. You know?
Correct. Because when you think about looking at a movie, do we just go straight to the end of the movie, or do we watch and sit down and watch the movie because there's a story that's unfolding and being told?
Correct.
Certainly, we enjoy the end if it's done correctly,
Yes.
but that
Yes.
middle part
But
has to be
I
there.
want to absorb the middle part. Yes.
That's why we watch
Yes.
the
I
movie.
want to. That's why we watch. Yes. It was something about seeing Jake Sully in Avatar losing that prepares you for when he's riding the huge
Correct.
bird,
Correct.
right? He lost the woman, he tied up, and it's uncertainty. It's
Mm,
something about seeing that,
correct. The end
right?
result is not always it.
Yeah,
It
right,
rarely is.
right. Yep.
Because when the movie is over, you're like, dog, okay, well, when's the next one coming out? Because I want to see the rest of this next
Right.
story.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, let me ask you this, because my dad, we were talking about, we think, if we switching a little bit, that Quaritch is a bit jealous of Jake because he can't really seem to kill him.
Mm,
And
mm,
it's a more of a competition now, where it's like he sees the joy and what Jake is talking about, but he can't let himself succumb to that because of his stance.
mm,
And Jake is like, dog, you can have all this. We just chilling, we living, and
mm,
you're so stringent in what you want, and it has to be that way. You're willing to kill, do all this just to get me? You you're
mm,
missing it. You're missing it. You doing all this devastation and warring just to get Jake Sully.
mm.
And by the time Avatar 3 comes around, Josh, it's been 15 or 16 years and he's still trying to get that Joker. Like, bro,
Give it up.
give it
Just
up.
give it up.
You could be living good, but you're so stringent and so Ruha and Marine and,
But
you know.
but how often is that story told, even in our current predicament at 1600
Yeah,
at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, where we get offended
good
by a
point.
joke made at a reception, and now
Good point.
we decide we got to run too just to prove a point, and then we
Good
lose
point.
and we lie about it, and then we run again. Somehow we win, and we still not satisfied, and so we still acting like we a bald headed ain't got no hair to stand the back mall
Yep.
monkey, because we just can't seem
Yep.
to get our life together.
Yep.
And it's like, you should have just gave this up your ages ago, buddy. Like, it's
Yep.
okay to lose. Losing is a part of life.
It's okay. Yeah. Yep.
It's how you
It's
come
okay.
back. It's how you still
Yep.
define and tell your story. And
Yep.
maybe you were so urgent to get back in there that you missed the blessing and the message that the Lord had for you. Because I don't think you ever
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
And so
I got
now
you.
the Lord says, since you won't listen to what I was telling you, I'm going to let you ride this out, but I'm going to let you also fall upon your own sword.
Well, the Bible speaks about that. The children of Israel, when they didn't choose, they stopped choosing God. He
Hmm.
turned them over to a reprobate mind. Now they
Correct.
don't know what to pick.
Correct. They prayed for
Mm-hmm.
a king, right? He gave them a king, right?
Mm-hmm.
See you see what
Mm-hmm.
happened time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
At some point,
Yeah.
you got to realize, like, sometimes when the Lord just allows things, it might, and I'm speaking to myself
Yeah.
right now because I need it. Just because he's
Yeah.
allowing something does not mean he has given, there's no consequences for their actions.
Or that he has lost any of his power.
Mm, true. He still
Especially if you
says
look in the
who he
Old
is.
Testament, it was a battle of the gods and whose God was bigger than who. Just because he allowed it don't mean he's lost any of his potency. He's
Correct.
still God Almighty.
Correct. Every bit.
So yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right, Josh. Last thing.
Hmm.
Let's see where we at. All right. Let's see. All right. So we're gonna end on kind of some good notes. So check this out. I have written 3 pieces of work, Josh, that have just got to get published.
Oh, wow.
One of them is about my chickens.
Hmm.
I don't know if I told you that, so that's gonna be like a children's book.
Okay.
2 years ago, I actually lost my whole flock of chickens to a fox,
Mm,
and we had a rooster there. He was a big white rooster, but he had a big red comb,
hmm.
and we called him Big Red. Me and Big Red had this like weird relationship to where every time I went in the lot, he would try to kick at my feet, right? So yeah, he didn't like me. He would try to kick at my feet. So what had started to happen was we were losing like 1 or 2 chickens here and there.
Hmm.
So I had started to get frustrated and said, man, that's why you're in here, to make sure that they're safe
Right.
at night. I can't be down here all the time. That's why you in here. So long story short, when we lost the whole flock, even him too, he died too, to a fox.
Mm,
I was talking, man, I was devastated, Josh. And I was talking to my dad, and me and him through that conversation had talked up this story. So then I had come up with, I said, look, what if we did it like this? Because really what was happening, Josh, the real enemy wasn't me or Mr. or Big Red, it was
mm,
Mr. Fox. I was mad at Big Red because he was letting the hens go at night. He was probably thinking, Big Red, this joker is coming down here when I'm asleep and taking my ladies. He looking at me. And so now we have this animosity about each other when we're really trying to do the same job, which is to protect the hens.
mm,
My job was to protect them during the day. His job is to protect them at night. The chickens go missing. So we now looking at each other saying, wait a minute, Big Red. And he's saying, Mr. Q, you're supposed to be doing, and the whole time, the culprit, Mr. Fox, is sitting back watching both of us argue.
mm,
So the book is kind of catered to that, to where some of the pages it comes from my perspective,
mhm,
and then it switches to when Big Red is talking to his chickens, and he's saying, because what would happen is when he would kick at my feet, I kick him back, and then I walk on out the lot. So from the book's perspective, when I walk up the hill with my children, I'm saying, you see that, kids? That's how you handle an ornery rooster. You just give him a little kick.
mhm.
So then it switches to him, and he's saying, you see that, ladies? You see when he came in here, I just fluffed at his feet and kicked him. You see he went on back up that hill, don't
I
you?
like that.
So that's kind of how it's going to go from perspectives.
Mhm,
But in reality, the real enemy is Mr. Fox.
mm,
Now, because it's a children's book, Mr. Fox is not killing the hens. What he's doing, this is around Easter time, he's taking the hens and he's creating an egg factory because he want to sell Easter eggs. So that's how it's going to kind of tie into the children's story. And so then me and the children and Big Red have to go on this adventure to go get our hens back. And that's the story of, it's called Big Red and the Chicken Coop Caper.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's already written. I just gotta publish it and find an artist for it. The next one I wrote, Josh, is called When God Chooses You. And that's dealing with your calling and how to sit in the call, how to live with the call, what it's like being frustrated with the call.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what that is when God calls you, living in your divine purpose. That's another one. And the one I actually just finished, Josh, and I'm gonna send you a text message of the I did do a cover image for that.
Okay.
It's called The House of Rivers.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a soft play on my life. It's a
Hmm.
young guy named Malachi. He's 30 years old and he's a third generation preacher. His grandfather is retiring and they want him to take over, but he's unsure of whether he wants to take over or not. And their last name is Rivers. That's how I get the House of Rivers. So their last
Hmm.
name is Rivers. So I actually have three things that I've written, Josh, that I just have to
Wow.
put out. Yeah, man.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it gets to bless somebody with that. You know, uh, I'm praying for direction on how to publish it, on who to go
Mhm.
to, because my brain don't do that part of it. I'm a creator, and I can give you I can give you the product. I just struggle moving it. So, but
Same.
I'm excited about what God is gonna do,
I'm
man. And
excited for you.
yeah, man, I'm you know I'm excited because I can't wait to have that hard copy in my hand and be able to tell people, hey, you know, especially Josh,
Mhm.
you know where we work at. What's gonna happen when them kids find out that Mr. Lee have written a children's book?
They can do it
Who
too.
knows? Who knows what can hello? Who
The
knows what can
dreams can be
come from that?
unlocked. Yep.
Right, right. Right. And see, my thinking is how much sooner then after they find that out that maybe I'm reading in the library once a week, or
Hmm.
maybe I get to do some readings at the school board or something like that and show off my book and tell people the message behind the book that if
Right.
we work together, we can go further and not fight each other. That could be an
Definitely.
underlining message. Cause
True.
in the story, Josh, we can't go get our ladies back until we come together.
Mm.
And it's until we come together, then together we can go get our ladies back.
Mm.
And that could be the underlying message of the story, which is a good message. We shouldn't be fighting. We should be coming together and helping each other, not blaming each other. Because
Correct.
what in the story, Josh, uh, we come across some holes in the fence. I'm blaming the Big Red for letting the chicken scratch the ground up around the fence,
Hmm.
and he's saying, "Well, you coming in, you letting something come in," and so we so busy
Mm.
blaming each other
Let's call that friendly
that
fire.
there you go. With Josh, we're doing the same job,
We are. Same goal, same objective, same
same goal
purpose.
to keep these ladies safe.
We just got to both
But when it,
hold each other accountable, and but that accountability doesn't mean we
yes,
have to hurt each other.
there you
And
go.
we're not each other. It's not us. It's not me against you. It's me and you versus Mr. Fox. How applicable is
Bingo.
this in life? Think about like because you hear that I just heard this comparison with marriage. We forget that the problem is not me versus her. It's us against that problem.
Ooh,
But the mind shift doesn't happen sometimes in some marriages or
how
even basic
far could I have
relationships
in basic
or
relationships?
even in friendships, whether it's between you and a
Yep.
homeboy, like,
Yep.
or between a homegirl and a homegirl.
What
Like,
if we sat down and addressed the problem
yep,
and put that focus on the issue
correct.
rather than your point of view and my point of view?
Well, you got a lot of ego too sometimes where people think just because it's not, if an issue is not addressed in their way,
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
realizing, like, hey, let's both come to the table, excuse me, let's evaluate and then let's
Yeah.
move on from there.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me bring my idea, you bring your idea. How can we mesh these ideas together? Or maybe one idea is just lackluster and be okay with it.
Do you think that's a cultural thing?
Yes. I think it comes down at the root of it, I think it's pride
I
in
got
some
you.
cases. I think we simply just we want things our way or the highway.
But you know what, Josh? From my small view of thinking,
Hmm.
I think we have been put back and set back and oppressed for so long that when we finally did get something, it got to us. And that perpetuated generation down a generation down a generation to where now in our culture, a lot of times, like we said earlier, we view our people, and we do it, we view our people based on their successes
Yeah.
and what they've accumulated, what they have,
Mm,
not who they are no more.
mm.
What did you get? How much have you done? Where are your degrees at? How much money you got? How big is your house? How big is your car? Do you have a church yet? Are you pastor? Are you married yet? And now our value has been placed in those things.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I don't even talk about those things with certain people. And I don't even want to go around
Right.
certain people because I know those are the questions going to be asked of me. And I'm like, I don't even want to be around you. I don't even have a conversation
Cause
with you because you keep esteeming my value based off of those things. And you're not really hearing me where I'm at right now. You
yep,
want to hear whether I'm married, but you don't want to hear, hey, I'm in this
yep,
leadership academy that's really sharpening and strengthening me as a leader or as a person. Hey,
yep.
I just went to the movies and saw 2 movies back to back because that's something I enjoy doing. But no, you want to talk about me about these aspects. And then
And I went by myself. Yeah,
yes. And then
yeah,
here's
right.
the kicker. Because I'm not married, you think I'm not growing in my life. And I'm like, no,
Mm,
I'm actually
mm,
working 2 jobs. And most days, excuse me, I'm working from 6:30 to 12 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night.
yep.
And so when I
Josh,
say I haven't done anything
that's
on Saturday, it's not because I'm lazy. It's I'm
bingo.
going through recovery, literally.
Yes, literally, literally.
So don't
And Josh,
discredit.
we just spoke about earlier, halfway feeling guilty for that
Correct. Because
on that
because of the
one day.
mindset that you have given some of y'all have done to me and given to me.
Yep.
But you
Yep.
don't also get to hear about the blessing that I get to listen to an audiobook and gain some knowledge while I'm working some of
Yes.
these jobs too. You don't get to hear
Bingo.
you don't
Nope.
get to understand that I get to remain kind of connected in what's happening in
Yep.
the political aspect because I'm listening to this person speak about this issue, or I'm
Yep.
listening to this podcast that's giving me some good biblical knowledge too, or
Yep.
some good just
Yep.
practical knowledge for how I can live in this world socially. Like,
Yep. Yep. That's
be
real
careful
talk.
how you esteem value to people based off of what you think is valuable.
Yep.
I
Yep.
should have value to you simply because I'm me. Simply because
Just
I'm a person
because
made in the image.
I'm me. Just because I'm me.
And if you can't love me for that basic thing, we got a problem. If
Yep.
you can't simply just want to talk to me or have a conversation with me, or
Yep.
even just build a relationship with me that could hopefully develop into something later, that's gonna be
Yep.
problematic.
Yep. Josh, I had a boy. His name is Antonio, and he's still my boy. I love him to death.
Hmm.
And Josh, we were sitting around each other. I remember we had it so bad one time back in the day, Josh. We used to go to Subway and buy a foot long and split that. But I'm gonna tell you something. We were just as happy can be, Josh.
Hmm.
We won't judging each other. We won't, man, we laughing, splitting that sub, having a good old time, man.
Correct.
That's that's your boy.
Correct. And here's the
That's what
thing.
I'm talking about.
And here's the thing too. We're not saying we don't want a circle that doesn't call us to a higher ground or a higher standard.
No, right, no, no, no.
We just want a circle that's going to naturally just be in the
Yes,
season that we're in and love us
yes,
regardless.
yes, yes,
Because
yes,
you need people who are going to call you to a higher standard. You should have people
yes,
in your friend group who are going to challenge you to be like, "Hey, I see you're you're worth more than what you're doing right now. I don't know
yep,
what the Lord has for you, but I'm going to be walk alongside you in this season. And maybe you might
yep.
not be moving in the next month or the next 3 months or 6 months, but I want to make sure I continue to remind you, hey, when those frustrating days come at the job, I want to make sure I'm one of the ones that's praying for you. I want to make sure I'm the one
But
still encourage you to keep going."
but Josh, we've done that.
Hmm.
We ain't shot a podcast in 4 months.
Yep.
but you come back like you never left.
That's true.
That's how you know. And I'm sure in those last 4 months, and I know we know each other, but I'm sure in those last 4 months, we'd have been down, we'd have been struggling, we'd have been
Oh yeah.
up, we'd have been okay,
Oh
we'd
yeah.
have been sick, we done lost some stuff, we done gained some stuff, we've been all over the place, but this is the same.
Yeah. Because look at those 4 months. Those are the heavy hitter months. October, November. December. When I say the heavy hitter, I mean you got the holidays. You know what happens typically around the end of the year? That's I lost my former roommate like the day after Christmas. We had lost connection, but like so much happens just in that short
Yep.
window time span.
That is, and I don't know if it's a single thing or if it's just a thing, but for me too, that October to January, February is a heavy hitter
Hmm.
time, man. It's deep, man. It's
It
heavy
is.
hitter.
It is.
It is tough. Your bills get higher, so
Woo!
you're struggling trying to, piece stuff
Say that
together,
again.
and man, the bills are higher.
Like
The electricity costs more
unnecessarily. Unnecessarily.
unnecessarily.
Like we said earlier, hey, we didn't have bills. Somebody invented this, and then you made bills
Yes,
just so a rich cat can profit off of it. I
cause
understand
Josh
people got to get paid for their wages, but come on now,
and Josh, they know you ain't gonna freeze to death.
no, you got
So
to
they
have
know
it.
you're gonna pay that bit. You gotta have it. You gotta
It's
have it.
like,
You can't. Okay, this is going back to me saying about the dining room table metaphor.
hmm
You gotta have it.
yeah, you know what's
If
so
you want
bad?
this,
What's so bad is I put my thermostat during November, December, and
I feel you. Okay, but it'll still do its thing. But yeah, I feel you. Let me see. Can you still hear me?
hello.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, you said 61 do 64.
Sometimes I bump it up to that to get break the chill a little bit, but well now no, I normally have 61, 62, 63. And I
hmm
keep it there,
Now
even
see
when it
what
was cold outside.
the issue I have in this house because it's a lot older.
Hmm.
I lose a lot of my heat through my windows,
Hmm. Mm.
so I keep it at 64 because I'm losing a lot of heat through there.
Hmm.
So even if so what I'm saying is if I do 61, it's really in the 50s in the house.
Wow.
Yeah, because the house is so much older. So I got to do at least 64 to ensure that it'll stay 61.
Right.
Yeah. Because if I do 61, it's gonna take it down further below that.
Mm.
It don't keep the temperature well. That's one thing I kind of struggle with. It don't keep the temperature well.
And see, I don't mind the cold air because you can I love me get me a good blanket, thick
Yeah,
blanket too. I still wear a tank top and a
yeah,
wife beater and then
yeah,
basketball shorts, even when it's
yeah.
30 degrees outside, because
Right,
I can't stand being hot. I
right.
can't stand it. But here's the bad part. During the summer, I'll bump it up to 75 throughout the
I,
day and just turn the fan
right.
on.
Yeah,
Cause I'm like, I refuse. I'll be cheap.
right,
I just don't want to pay high bills.
right.
But it
Yeah,
shouldn't be to that point to where we got to be uncomfortable.
yeah. No,
And we
right.
do all of this
No,
labor. We labor too much
no.
to be uncomfortable in the house that we own.
And so then just check it. What check this. Then my brain says, Quentin, why would you be selfish and want to bring somebody else into that?
Mm,
But it's like, well, golly, I'm working hard as I can to maintain this.
yeah,
I don't want to have to get up like Rick Ross to be able to finally say, all right, but it's just that's the reality of the world we live in.
it is.
I don't want to be selfish and bring somebody into a tight situation. I don't want that.
But I think too, then if somebody that is brought into that situation, I think that'd be a person that's prepared for it, and they're the person designed to be there for with you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right, right, right.
Ideally, I would hope if we
Yeah,
made it that far to where we're cohabitating and living together, that means you got a ring on your finger. We don't got married.
right,
That means we knew what we were getting into. We done
right.
had this conversation, and you've come for the long haul. Cause I ain't moving in with nobody, and ain't no commitment to you. You ain't about to
All
leave
right.
me
Well,
stuck with
see,
no payment or no rent, and I ain't got, and we're not married.
that's what that's part of what has shifted too. Is the illusion of options have they just not staying,
Mm,
and they ain't rocking with you. You got to already kind of be up before you even seem viable.
mm,
Because look at what society does. Now, if I was, now I don't know this because we weren't living back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but if I was sitting by myself at a wedding back in the 60s,
mhm.
she might not have walked past a single young guy looking spiffy, right?
True.
But now she walked right past me to go to him for what? What's your end game here? He's married. You know that. Everybody know that. What's your end game? You walk right past your opportunity because you thinking something else. But back in 1960, if a young guy was dressed sharp as a single man at a wedding, he hello.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have been had a dance partner, and y'all been shucking and jiving and twisting and turning, and that may have been your next love life for the next 50 years.
So I
But
guess it begs the question to ask: has the mentality shifted for everyone to where now we're realizing like, oh, we just got to even survive. We got to already be at this point just so that
yeah,
we can meet the threshold where it's now at for everybody else.
and Josh, particularly for men, that's what we struggle with too,
Hmm.
because we subconsciously now feel and know that.
Yep.
And Josh, see, on the surface, I'm asking why you pass me to walk to him, but deep down in my secret heart, I know why.
Yeah, and I might agree with you on it too,
I know, and I
because I
might
don't
agree
feel
with you.
equipped, and because I
Bingo.
don't feel equipped to
And
meet the moment.
that's eating me alive because I know why, and I halfway agree with you.
Hmm.
Yep.
And it's hard.
That's it. Yes. I'm not ignorant. I know why.
Yeah.
And you'll even take a chance at saying this in front of his spouse
The
because of
danger
it.
zone, by the way,
Right. But you'll do that for a chance at that.
because you'll risk it all because you think it's safe.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, people are still looking for stability.
Right. And I know that at the end of I'm sitting there, Josh, like I just said, you know that.
Hmm.
And it kills you to have to admit that. I'm
It
not ignorant.
does.
I'm not ignorant. But then it hurts me too. It hurts. Like, God, dog, bro. Is that where we at now?
Yep. But then we also need to have that come to Jesus meeting with our own selves too, because we can't expect to we can't expect to receive the love for somebody else when we don't even have it for our own selves. So if we don't have a true adequate, when my breakup happened, I said I felt like I had a scarlet letter because the reason for the breakup at the time, and praise God for artificial intelligence. The almighty intelligence is what I'll call it sometimes. But it told me you yourself don't even deem yourself worthy. Said you feel like you have a scarlet letter. So how can somebody else esteem value to yourself when you don't even value your own? So if I myself have a negative view and a negative mindset of myself, I can't expect to receive something when I from elsewhere.
But Josh, we got it honest because that's what they did to us.
Yep. But so now that means when we know better, we do better, and now we can address it.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
just because we know the condition, like somebody said this past week, there's a certain leader where they're aware that they're not leading like they should be. Well, just because you're aware of something doesn't mean you're going to address it. So now that we know what it is, and we know that we have our own men as a whole, and we've had it for a long time. We got a self image problem too sometimes.
We do.
And when we now know what it is, we can address it. We no wonder we can't receive it from out there because we haven't dealt with it here.
All right, let me be candid with you.
Hmm.
Now, I love dressing the way I dress, but if we exposing and being real,
Hmm.
Josh, I do this in the school when I don't have to because deep down I'm saying to myself, I got to do this
Mm.
because I'm lacking in maybe some other areas.
Hmm.
If I can give you this, I have to at least give you this because of the lacking of the other stuff. And
Hmm.
that's kind of what we're talking about. But that's why when you see Mr. Lee and you asking him, why are you dressing like and why are you? And I normally kind of play it off, but deep down, because I have to.
Yeah. I mean, that's been told to us in our community for the longest time too.
Yeah.
It matters. Like what when I would have my conversations with people of other ethnicities, they say, why do black folk always care about their shoes or spend so much money on their shoes?
Yep.
Well, it's because we're it's ingrained in us to be mindful of how we carry ourselves.
Yep.
It's ingrained in us on how we walk or how we talk because we're
Yep.
evaluated constantly based off of those things.
Yep. Let me give you a little small little example. I remember, and it still bothers me. I still kind of affected by it to this day. I was told by my grandmother back in the day that if you walk into a store with your hands in your pockets, to
Yep.
not do that because they think you're stealing
Correct.
something.
Yep.
And
Always
now,
get a receipt when you leave. Make sure
yep,
no matter what it is, you always get it put in the
yep,
bag.
yep, yep, all that stuff, Josh. To now, even though we are apart from grandmama and big mama, now as an adults, we can be out there on our own, and still that stuff is like, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let me take my hands out of my pockets, and you know you ain't doing nothing wrong.
But it took me a long time to understand what those things were and why we were taught those things until they were just trying to prepare us for the world that we were living in.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I mean,
yep,
like when I went off to college and I'm sitting here telling my friend, I always get a receipt. His parameters were different than my parameters. He's a different ethnicity.
right.
So, of course, he didn't understand. He just thought it was crazy. And I was just being like this, just too, I was overthinking the situation. Well, because I have to overthink the situation.
Yep.
My life could depend on it in some circumstances. Literally. Your life will not depend on it. Mine could.
Mine could. Yep. I was going through a checkpoint the other day, Josh. Now I'm clean as clean can be.
Hmm.
But Josh, something in me made me grip the steering wheel tighter.
I had that
And
conversation too.
I'm good. I'm not worried about anything. Everything's straight. But
Hmm.
doing the checkpoint, now I'm like tripping.
Yep. I've had that conversation too. I get nervous too when I get pulled over by police. Well, you're nervous is because you feel like you're getting in trouble, so you're getting a spanking. My nervous is, hey, am I going to survive this encounter?
Right. Yep. Yep.
Because those class members didn't just disappear. They took on
No.
leadership roles. They
Yep.
took on positions and authority.
Yep. Yep. And Josh, we've seen that real time in the media.
Correct.
They've just taken on different roles.
Correct. And the media where we once used to bully racism, now it's fully endorsed and given a platform continuously. And
And
we're
Josh,
told we need to hear them out about where they stand. And it's
bingo.
like wrong is wrong.
And
Foolishness is
Josh,
foolishness.
they're still finding black men hung in trees. Still.
But and nothing's being investigated.
Nope.
Because I've seen
So
so far three that I know of, four that I know of in the past 3 months.
that's
And the most
crazy.
recent one was it in Atlanta? Was it Georgia?
Atlanta,
Or am I mistaken?
Georgia, in Georgia. Yep.
And it's like we have a problem.
Yep.
It needs to be addressed. Because before long, the bill will be due. The
It
piper is
will.
gonna want the piper. Someone's gonna have to pay that piper.
Yep. Yep.
You continue to allow foolishness and darkness. You can't go on but for so long.
You can't. And I just have to hold on to the fact that God is watching all this.
Hmm.
To your point. And all right, so take for instance, when Emmett Till happened versus when George Floyd happened,
Hmm.
when George Floyd happened, Josh, the whole world knew about it.
Yep.
They could pick up their phone and watch it real time. So in some ways, it's been worse because you can just pick up your phone and watch it over and over and over and over, as opposed to just either seeing it on the newspaper or hearing about it. We can
Mm.
see it. We can hear the people telling the police officer, "You're killing him. He can't breathe." We can see that. We can hear it.
But you know that's not even good enough for some people.
True.
You know what they said? Some cases, some people said he was on drugs, he was on this, he was on that, and it's
Yep.
like, but isn't that the purpose of the justice system to decide from that point on? Their responsibility as law enforcement is to simply
Be the
detain
peace
him.
officer. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Detain the man. That's what
Yes.
you have a jury of their
Yes.
peers. That's what you have a
Yes.
judge for. That's what the legal system is for, to determine their guiltiness.
Yep. Yep.
Not that person just has a particular role. Don't take on
Yep.
more than what that role. This is why the school system is struggling, because we've tried to take on more than what we should as an education system.
As an educator, that's right.
When we
That's right.
do the same, when police officers and law enforcement do the same thing, obviously we don't demonize all of them, but we need to call out foolishness when foolishness is
That's right.
prevalent. And there's nothing
Josh,
wrong with that.
he was already handcuffed
Correct.
on his belly on the ground. Where in the world is he going?
Nowhere. But your
Nowhere.
pride and your arrogance,
Yep.
your supremacy,
Yep.
felt that you were entitled to determine that you were his executioner too.
Yep.
And for
Yep.
some strange reason, if we can't prove things, which is where the legal system has its weakness and its flaws,
Yep.
then you
Yep.
can get off scot free simply
Yep.
because you have a certain position. The Lord
Yep.
does not look upon that with glee either.
No. No.
There should still be consequences for you.
Yep.
You have to have consequences as well.
Yep. You do. I believe that. Yeah.
Even if you are in the most powerful position in the land.
That's right. That's right. That's why I believe, as the old people used to say, God gonna have to come back.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to.
Because this is
It's
some
not.
foolishness.
It's not just a want to. He gonna, in order for this stuff to, he gonna have to come back. And the enemy, I feel, Josh, is sensing that his time is up.
Mm.
And I'm going to try to cause as much confusion and chaos and hell, because what the enemy is assured of, he know his time is limited. The
Mm-hmm.
people that serve him don't understand that, but he knows my time is limited because he knows the word too. And he's trying all he can to cause as much confusion and chaos in these last days, as they say.
Mm.
But Josh, what do you think for the night, man? Can you give us some closing words?
Closing words. I
Yeah.
don't even know if I have any closing words
All right. Well, let me say this then.
other than, well, I guess I can
Go ahead.
say, just stay on the beat. We can just stay on the beaten path. Like, these
Yeah,
2 times will pass. I do rejoice in the season that is to come, but I'm also going to keep fighting in the season that we're currently in too.
because my grandfather is on the other side of what he went through. So I just
Hmm.
believe, like you said, if we keep on the beaten path, one day we'll look back and say we got through that.
Correct. Because in all
We'll,
honesty, we needed it. We needed a rough patch. We needed a
yeah.
hiccup, a little spoke on the wheel, because we were
Yep.
getting too comfortable.
Yep. Yep.
And comfortability can.
Hello. Well, I'm seeing it in the children.
Yep. Yep.
That ready-made life is
It's not
affecting them.
all it's cracked up to be. Correct.
Yeah, it really is affecting them. Josh, some of our students don't go outside to play. Some of
No.
them don't know how to ride a bike. Some of them don't have cousins and stuff to play with, and they don't know about how to. Some of them can't even turn the page on a book. It's
Correct.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that we have to stay on the beaten path, continue to pray daily, and be the voice for the voiceless, Josh.
Mm.
Even though they did it to us, let's not perpetuate the same thing again.
Hmm.
It's going to be tough to speak up when you were left out, but that's what God has strengthened us to do. So, to everybody watching, Josh and I are trying to do a great thing to use the platforms and the technology available to us to be able to, first of all, be real people, to be real human beings. We're both educators, we're both preachers of the gospel, but we are also men and we are human beings. We struggle, we get lonely, we get confused. We have our good days and our bad days like everybody else. But I pray that this platform helps somebody along the way because that's just our goal. So, Josh, man, I love you.
Love too.
I think we're through that tough season, and now we can kind of get back to because I had dropped off a lot, man, from even myself doing a lot of personal shooting because, like you said, just it's just tight,
Yep.
you know. A
We
lot
made
of
it to the
times
holiday season.
we did. Uh, so and this is going all the way back from Halloween to Valentine's Day for us.
Right. Yep.
All that's tight. and let me just give some shout outs to the Josh. He goes the extra mile for his students, and his
Oh, thank you.
classroom looks like a spaceship, and he's always going above and beyond for his students. So for a teacher, from Halloween to Valentine's Day is very tight, and he's worn it with flying colors, and I commend him every day.
Oh, bless you.
Even before I knew who he was, I could just watch his life and knew he was different. And I give him his flowers while he's living. But continue to support this page. Continue to support Josh Adams and his ventures. Me, Quentin Lee for On Cue Productions.
Amen.
We'll be back doing this again. Whatever you want us to talk about, leave it down in the comment section and we'll get to it if we can. But until then, we're going to keep giving you real talk for real life. But this has been Josh Adams and your boy Quentin Lee for the On Cue podcast, and we will see you again.